occasionally produced bursts of scoring to match anyone, and the Bears are cock-a-hoop after last week's stirring victory over Carlton. Today is their chance to prove they've turned the corner.
Very alive, beautifully shuffled out there to Michael Richardson, touches it once on the ground, then again racing into goal. He's 40, oh, he ran a mile, 45 metres out, kicks it. Hardie, too clever. He will go well under these conditions, Bernie. Hardie, 9 goals against Carlton last week. He might come out to the right and open up the goals slightly. No, he runs in directly and kicks, and Brad Hardie has goal.
Already away to Gibson running through the centre. Bears looking good. Gibson out in front of Kappa. Boy, almost took the mark. Gets the hand pass away. Williams, open forward line here. Hardie has a break on them, and Brad Hardie will get his second. Is cut off by Waitman. Don't know whether he had first touch. Chance for Hardie still. Umpire didn't pay Waitman's mark. Picked up by McKenna. And McKenna pulled off his kick by Richardson. Ball still in. Williams back to Hardie for number 3. And I think he's kicked it. He has. Player at centre half back, Des Ryan, to take the chest mark. Puts it out to centre wing. Oh, what a climb, what a mark by Frangalis.
Frangalis. Now it's Matthew Knights. He's tackled. Quick kick is by Michael Pickering. Off the side of the boot as players dive in after it. Here's Trevor Poole, shoots. And is that their first? It is.
Trevor Poole getting Richmond's first goal just before half-time. The Bears had 3 on the board in the first quarter, all to Brad Hardie, but the margin had gone from 16 points back to 9 points at half-time. That was the margin at the long break. Before we pick up the action in the third quarter, we've just heard that the tribunal won't be held tomorrow morning at the request of Carlton officials. They have deferred it to Tuesday night because of the condition of David Rhys-Jones with his broken jaw. So the tribunal this week will be on Tuesday night after the completion of the split round. OK, back to the MCG and we pick it up. 9-point leaders, the Brisbane Bears, going into the second half. Here's the opening bounce of the second half. Looks like the umpires might have come out in fresh gear as well to start this second half. A 9-point lead to the Brisbane Bears. The Tigers all in new kits and a couple of the Brisbane Bears. That won't last long, and we'll start with another throw up again in the middle. 3 goals for the Bears. All 3 goals kicked by Hardie in the first quarter. 1-7 Richmond. And the umpire will have to come in again. It'd cool off pretty remarkably at half-time. It'd come out, start again the second half, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't be easy at all. Mark McLeod is the youngster there, number 39, playing his first league game. It's socket off the ground. First goal in this quarter is very, very important. Booted off the ground again. Lester Smith's in there after it. A quick kick comes out towards centre wing. This is Chris Pym. He's attacked by 2 Brisbane Bears. That was Summers getting it down towards half forward. Williams. Now, here's Mark Williams again. He's playing a great game. The danger man Hardie waits at the back. He's got it. Brad Hardie, an open goal, kicks and bounces which side? The wrong side, I think. Yes.
He had Kappa.
Yep, Kappa going crook about it too.
He should have handballed it over, I think, Drew.
Yeah, that would have been a give-me goal to Warwick Kappa, who was standing just about on the end of the 10-metre square, and Brad Hardie ignored him.
Yes, I agree with that, and that probably cost them a goal.
Well, in what looks sure to be a close game, that could be vital. McIver marks the kick in on the 50. Scott McIver round onto the left boot, not a great kick, and the mark taken by Trevor Poole at centre half back. Poole out to centre wing. Awkward for Bauer. McKenna calls him on and does the shepherding. Bauer over the wing. Courage there by O'Keefe. Front of the pack, Lambert. Centering kick. Roberts has been a pretty good player for the Bears. The umpire didn't pay that mark. Comes out to Waitman, who gained some pace in the moving footing. Waitman again puts it out in front of goals, but it's all the Bears. Gee, Campbell took a week. Eventually gets it away. Not out of trouble yet. Luckily to Gastev, side of the boot job, and out of bounds.
He's done that well, John Gastev. On about 3 occasions he's been able to get the ball across the boundary line. Good defensive play under these very sloppy conditions.
Well, this throw-in will take place at the 50-metre line. And a goal to Richmond here really put them right back in the game. Now, how will the umpire interpret that? Most of the day, Bernie, the umpires have said that that is hold. the ball being held to the player, and that's good.
I think they've been pretty good, the umpires, today.
Well, there's Gary Frangalis trying to get away with the ball. Quick kick is by Dale Dixon. Waitman loses it. Kicked away by Brenton Phillips off the ground, and eventually the ball is over the line. Mark Williams hands it back in gentlemanly fashion. It's about 75 metres around from the Richmond goal as Summers punches it down. There's Frangalis, a quick kick to half forward, but it's taken by Michael Richardson. Again, now that's Rains receiving from his teammate in Matthew Campbell. Oh, Poole went for a fresh air shot. Now here's Bain. Bain to half forward. Charging after it is Ashcroft. Marcus Ashcroft, he's lost it. Mark McLeod, he's lost it also as the kick comes down towards half forward for the Bears. This is Brendan Bauer. Shuffled out by McIver. The kick comes to Mark Williams, taken away from him. Michael Richardson onto the left, brings it back in front of goal. Now who's there? Hardie's waiting at the back. He dragged his opponent away from it. The hand pass comes back to Matthew Knights. Lambert. Justin Pickering. Oh, that's good backing up by Richmond. And a beautiful smother as it's kicked away by James towards centre wing and Waitman.
Waitman tried to tunnel it. The umpire said he was grabbed when he didn't have it. Justin Pickering wanted to play on with advantage and is going crook at the umpire for not paying advantage and hurls it back at his skipper. Free kick to Waitman. Good distance, 40 metres. 45 maybe, to half forward. Merritt. Been a real scrounger today, Roger Merritt. Roberts loses control. Poole dragged down by Merritt when he didn't have it. Now advantage is paid. Frangalis goes the short pass, kicks into Gastev. Chance might have gone begging there. Chance here for Powell. Up into the goal square. Which way will it bounce? It's a goal!
Yes, they fought hard for that, Richmond. Get it down on the forward line. And Powell, who's been a busy player, been fighting hard for possessions and probably one of the most constructive forwards that Richmond have in the side. There's Powell. Excellent pickup. That just bounces nicely for him. There's a little bit of a leg break. And finally, Richmond's second goal on the board.
The Brisbane Bears now lead by only 4 points, and that's put a different slant on the game. Here's Trevor Poole coming through the centre. It's off the side of the boot, and the mark has been taken by Gastev. Now the Bears are going to be under a bit of pressure, I should say, in this quarter. Gastev, to the centre of the ground. Richardson's working hard. He's taken a nice mark on the chest. Over to Brenton Phillips. Phillips to half forward. It's fisted away out towards the half back line. There's Michael Pickering, a quick kick to the centre of the ground. Matthew Knights over to Lambert. They're looking good, the Tigers. The short one. They're starting to cover a bit more territory with their kicks down that end. That was Gibson shuffling it away. Frangalis has got it, looking for a hand pass. He kicks it instead right out towards the pocket, and he's found Littledale Waitman right out on that boundary line. Now, the distance would be a big doubt here, I would think.
It's very wide out there. Waitman leading very wide to the pocket and on a very tight angle.
Well, a goal would put Richmond in front. He's had 10 kicks. Let's see if he can make the distance. Dale Waitman, he's hooked it across his body. There's a pack of players there. The mark is dropped. Here's a chance for Wilson. Tries to get boot the ball. Can't do so. As players pounce in on top of it, and the umpire will have to ball that one up. The Richmond supporters didn't think so. They thought it should have been holding the ball.
David O'Keefe, last one up. Chance for Richmond going up around the ground, but the knock comes out towards the boundary line and will beat them out of play. Good play by the Bears. Well, I wonder, had Brad Hardie hand passed to Kappa, and Kappa kicked the goal to stretch the margin, whether that would have buried Richmond. And now, just one kick the difference. Well, Powell again, high tackle. It's free.
No doubt.
Yeah, they shouldn't complain about that one. Good decision by the umpire. Let's have a look again. There it is. The tackle in the first instance was definitely high.
Campbell the offender, and Tony free with this free kick for Richmond to put the Tigers 2 points in front. breeze is favouring Richmond this quarter. Good kick. Different complexion on this match now.
Yes, Richmond looking a lot better since quarter time. They have been the better side, and they're starting to get a little bit of run into the game.
Hope you're enjoying Saturday night replay, probably with a bowl of soup on the lap. Well, we've moved on a few minutes in the third quarter at the MCG. The Bears have added 2 behinds, both from Brad Hardie, and we pick it up with just under 13 minutes left. Scores level, 3-7 apiece. Under 13 minutes left to three-quarter time. Bears led by 16 points at quarter time, which looked like a cricket score in these conditions. McIver pulled off his kick. So Richmond have had the better of the play, certainly since quarter time. They added 1 goal 3 in the second quarter, Richmond, and have kicked 2 goals straight in this quarter. It's not bad going. McIver loses it to Lees. Merritt over the ball, and the umpire will throw it up again. Best man on the ground, the man in white. He's had 150 possessions.
As we see the ball thrown up again, as Drew said. Oh, that's a free kick to Merritt. Was dragged round the neck, and the umpire right on the scene. The very good umpiring display. Roger Merritt from 50 metres almost fell over as he kicked it. This could come over the back. No, an excellent mark in that last line of defence. I think that was McLeod took that mark. It was a good mark of that wet ball. Here's John Gastev. He's going short to the pocket. Oh, who was that? Waitman putting himself in front. That was excellent play, Waitman. He'll come back and he'll take the free kick, but he showed a lot of courage there in front of Hardie.
Dale Waitman, 12th kick. He's had 3 handballs as well. High to half back. Knocked out of the air by Reynoldsson, but he lost some ground. Knights. Oh, he played it beautifully. Taken by Poole. In between wing and half forward. Not too sure what to do with it, Trevor Poole, because there's nobody on the forward line. Well, it came out of there so quickly they weren't set for a forward charge. Rains off the ground. He's kicked back towards the centre. Oh, Bain underneath the ball. Waitman marks. Well, he's winning possessions all over the ground, the Richmond skipper.
Playing well in this quarter, Dale Waitman. He's gone to half forward and he's found a man, Peter Wilson.
And they're reaping the rewards in this quarter by going more directly towards goal down the centre of the ground. And Waitman, who has been very good in this quarter, kicking long and direct and catching the Brisbane Bears defenders out.
Now, it'll be a miracle if he can make the distance from here with that heavy ball. He won't. It'll land up in the goal square. There are a number of high flies. Here's Tim Powell, a quick kick. And it hit the post. So that is bad luck to Richmond. Very quick thinking by Tim Powell. But they lead. They lead by a point, 3-8 to 3-7. And, well, we're in for a titanic struggle for the rest of the game as the rain keeps tumbling down.
Kick in by O'Keefe. What a mighty kick, about 50 metres in these conditions. But the good mark by Ryan. And he's played well, Des Ryan. Straight back to the goal square. Chance for the Tigers. Mark! Peter Wilson.
Yes, that was a great mark by Peter Wilson. We've seen some tremendous marking in this third quarter. The rain has continued to tumble down. But eyes on the ball and a very greasy ball to mark at that in between the 2 Brisbane Bears players. Great courage, Peter Wilson.
Well, the stats don't look good, but he spent about a quarter and a half on the bench. A vital kick. This to put the Tigers 7 points up. Oh, he's hardly scored. He gets a behind, and they lead by 2 points.
Well, they're doing most of the attacking, the Tigers, and they seem to be kicking further down that end. So maybe that is the scoring end, as the kick again out towards that half-back line. Bain off the ground was good play. Reynoldson's there now. Bain, oh, geez, working hard, Bain. But was it a free kick? I think it was before that. And it'll be Richmond's way. Now, let's see who it is. It is Lambert, in fact. Lambert right up in front of the Richmond goal. Let's see what they can do. They've had plenty of opportunities. Waitman's had an excellent quarter. He goes in after it. close to the line, and he takes it over. He's the idol of the Richmond supporters, Dale Wakeman. Great player for Richmond and for Victoria. There's the score, 3-9 to 3-7. 8.5 minutes of play left in this third quarter. Michael Pickering to Trevor Poole. Mark Roberts has worked hard. Gets his boot to ball. This is dangerous though, because Chris Pym's there. Richardson is there. And Dale Dixon. Richardson can't get away with it. Gastev lays on the tackle. Justin Pickering, I think that is being caught. And yes, it is. And it's at half forward, centre half forward for the Tigers.
Knocked out by McLeod to Michael Pickering. Edge of the goal square. Pickering's kick drops short, and it's socked through by Wilson.
And he's a very exuberant player, Peter Wilson. He's done a couple of team-lifting things in the last 5 minutes. A great mark when he didn't convert. But playing on the forward line, let's have a look at that again. Good play by Richmond to get the ball out. Pickering, a long kick into the forward line. They've gone much more direct. They haven't fiddled around in this quarter, Richmond. And good coaching by Kevin Bartlett to get them playing much better and more direct in this quarter.
Richmond lead by 8 points. They're getting on top. They badly need a goal, the Brisbane Bears. It's halfway through that second quarter. Richmond were really picked up their game. If Mark Williams not happy about something. It's at half forward for the Bears. They're making a change, in fact. Coming on is Micken and off is Reynoldsson. And what they desperately need now is a quick goal.
Since quarter time, Pete, Richmond have kicked 4-5 to 5 behind.
Yes, and I think that's been indicative of the general play around the ground. Richmond really have picked up after they were blitzed early by the Bears. There's Merritt. Bain just loses the run of it. That's understandable. Off the ground by Ryan. Bain in after it again, but he's only 1 against 4 then. The Bears seem to be standing back a fair bit. There's Ryan playing well. Ryan right down towards half forward. That ball floated about 50 metres then. So it's taken over by Gibson. But that ball really carried. There might be more wind there than we think, Bernie.
Looks like Roger Merritt coming off the ground with an arm injury.
Well, Reynoldsson had only gone to the bench for about 1 minute.
He looks in a bad way, Roger Merritt, too. That's a bad loss to the Brisbane Bears.
Out of defence, Roberts for the Bears. Up towards centre wing. And beats players out of bounds. We have just over 6 minutes remaining to three-quarter time. And it's now an 8-point lead to Richmond, after they were blitzed in the first quarter and trailed by 16 points. There are actually more spectators here than it looks like there. They're all up under shelter, because it's rained virtually non-stop since the start. Lambert. High to half forward. Richmond well placed, but the ball skims on that wet ground and goes out of play again.
Really, Richmond seem to be backing up a lot better. When you see a loose ball, there's 3 and 4 Richmond players there all the time and 1 Bears man.
Well, Richmond aren't a quick side with the likes of Mitchell out, and I suppose in these conditions other teams come back to their pace and they'd like it like this. Umpire's going to throw it up again. And I got that from the coach. Kevin Bartlett himself said...
I wondered where you got that from,
Kevin Bartlett himself said, we're not quick. We're in a bit of strife for pace. Who's going to get this? Oh, good kick on the turn up towards the point of the goal square. Wilson's there again. This might go through for a score. It has for a behind. And we might have a competition at the end of the day. Who kicked it? I have no idea.
Well, again, that floated a long way with the breeze. There's no doubt Richmond have got the scoring in. So the last quarter might favour the Bears as far as the breeze. Matthew Campbell receives from Mark Roberts. Oh, this is dangerous. The loose ball comes to Lester Smith, to Phillips, to Reynoldsson. Well picked up by Reynoldsson, brought to ground. And more like rugby in the clinches there. Micken was grabbed. And the umpire will throw the ball up at half forward. Well, halfway between half forward and centre wing for Richmond. They lead 4-10 to 3-7. Only 9 points, but that's a fair bit. Jeff Hogg, I've hardly seen him. He must have had a decent spell on the bench, I would think. Jeff Hogg towards half forward. Here's a chance again. Oh, the mark is dropped Kicked away by Phillips, or smothered in fact. There's Michael Pickering playing for a free kick then. The umpire didn't pay it. Bain hassled as he kicked it, and he puts it out of bounds on the full. So it'll be a kick out there to McKenna. On the mark is Williams. Alan McKenna's been a good player, Drew.
Yes, nearly leads the competition in possessions, McKenna, which would surprise a lot of people. Well, what a pick-up that was by Powell. Kick smothered. Free, knocked off the ball. In over at McIver, and that will be thrown up again. And Peter Wilson last up again for Richmond. And looks as though he's been stung into action by starting the game on the bench, because he's come out like, well, an enraged lion. Or tiger more, perhaps. Michael Pickering on the turn. Out of bounds on the full. No, he gets a score for that. So all these behinds are worth goals in the conditions, and the margin now is 9 points, 10 points in favour of Richmond.
Mark Roberts has lost a lot of weight and a greatly improved player. Good to see him. He's put in a lot of effort into his game, Roberts. And good to see him reaping the benefits. Richardson slipped over. Now, I hope they don't pay a free kick there. Good umpiring again. In fact, we eventually paid it for the Richmond player copying it too high. And it's Trevor Poole right out there in the gloom. Bad luck for Richardson then when he slipped. There's the kick by Poole. It drops short, and it's a mark. Lambert. Craig Lambert is marked. He chipped in short. The ball will always drop under these conditions, and he took a very good chest mark.
Yes, right on top now, Richmond too. They're playing much more better position play than they did in that first quarter. When you consider Hardie's kicked 3 goals 3 out of the total Brisbane score of 3 goals 7, you can see there's not much else on their forward line.
Craig Lambert from right in front, 25 metres out, kicks and goals.
Today's game is part of the Carlton and United Breweries 1989 Premiership season.
Richmond kicked 4 goals in that third quarter to turn the game around, and Brisbane didn't add to their 3 goals of the first term. In fact, the last quarter didn't produce a goal for either team, and the Tigers ran out winners by 19 points. They had 5 different goal kickers, and Hardie got all 3.
The only team in the league never to have beaten the Bears going into this match, and throughout the first half they didn't look any chance of changing that.
Brad Hardie will get his second.
Again, Brad Hardie was the dominant force for the visitors. 9 goals last week. He took the clean sweep of Brisbane's 3 majors for the half.
And McKenna pulled off his kick by Richardson. Ball still in. Williams back to Hardie for number 3.
The Tigers kept plugging away, though, in the quagmire.
Towards the pocket. And that's an excellent mark with the wet ball by Chris Pym.
And when Poole scored their first goal for the afternoon, a minute and a half from the major break, it was back to 9 points the difference. Tim Powell's goal early in the third term seemed to turn the tide for the Tigers. Across the board, they lifted while the Bears got bogged down. They kicked a match-winning 4 goals for the quarter. This, the last one, kicked for the game. The last term, merely a mud-raking exercise, only 5 points added in total.
finally in round 11, the winter has arrived. I think we're paying our dues for a perfect autumn because it's raining, it's cold, the ground is heavy, and you can have a look at it out there. Look at the slop out there in the middle, and they won't stay clean for too long. Let's take a look at the weather conditions that we can expect on this Queen's Birthday long weekend here in Melbourne. Cool and cloudy with showers. Current temperature a chilly 12 degrees, and the ground is a real slop. I don't think we're going to get a high-scoring game. The tackling and the smothering are going to be the thing. With me this afternoon, Bernie Quinlan and Peter McKenna. Well, maybe this is what Melbourne football and VFL is all about.
Well, I'll tell you what, Drew, it's the worst condition I've seen the MCG in many, many years. It's going to be a real hard slog out there, and if those Brisbane boys have been training in those heavy conditions up there, I think it'll be a big advantage to them because we haven't had these wintry conditions for a long time, Bernie.
The ground is a real mess. It's going to be won at ground level today, there's no doubt about that. Not a day for forwards, so Warwick Capper I think will have his work cut out kicking goals, and the players with the most desperation, the team with the most desperation to tackle, chase, smother, and they will definitely win the game at ground level. There won't be many high marks scored today.
And there are the Bears, and they've got a pretty good side. A lot of them wearing long-sleeve Guernseys. That's pretty sensible. And probably Peter Knights is, well, he's a pretty intelligent coach. It's probably look at the number of them with their long sleeves on, and that's sensible under these conditions. But the Richmond side, apparently they should have won last week. There's the Richmond side actually up on screen now, and they've made a few changes. Coming into the side is Stephen James, a youngster named McLeod, Mark McLeod. You see him wearing number 39 today. Dale Waitman will make a big difference back in that side, and Gary Fingalis, who seems to be very injury prone. So Richmond side, they're very weak on the back line. The back line very iffy, but they're a young side. They make a lot of mistakes, but they have a go.
Yeah, they're very keen, there's no doubt about that. The Brisbane side, they've made two changes. Into the Brisbane side is Jeff Rains into the centre, and Rover Bain back into that side. But not a bad looking Brisbane side on paper. Their goal-to-goal line looking a lot stronger than it has.
All right, so that's how the teams line up for today's game. A few stars out there. They might be dimmed very early on by the mud. So let's take a look at some of the players we'll be taking particular notice of. I'm on the left-hand side. Oh, hang on, I'm going changing. Right, here I am. Through on cans. That the Brisbane Bears have beaten Richmond in all 4 contests they've had in the VFL. And Richmond is the only team that has a nil-win record against the Brisbane Bears. So the Bears going for 5 straight today here against Richmond. A real slop out there in the middle. Umpires in charge today, Darren Goldsby and Mike Poole. The 39 you saw there on screen is the new ruckman Mark McLeod from Tigers playing his first game. 20-year-old. Up against Mark Mickett, the Brisbane Bears skipper. Not too many crowd in attendance in the background there. They're all huddled up under shelter. To get the game underway. Pretty hard to get it out of the middle there. 3 breaks away from Richmond, but the whistle's gone. It's going to be a Brisbane Bears free kick. And Roger Merritt takes it out of the middle. Well, it's about 35 metres, not a bad effort. And there's a free kick. Richmond has taken the mark. Pickering was dashing off the ground, but there was a shepherd behind play, and Mark Williams has the free kick on the 50-metre line. But normally you'd think he might go close, but he won't make the distance from there. Tivers there, no mark. Merritt it was, and Merritt paid. Well, Roger Merritt last week played ruck rover for the first time in his life. He said during the week that he's never in his entire career lined up in centre square for opening bounces. I think a big fellow like that on the ball for the Bears today will be an important component in their attempts to beat Brisbane. To beat Richmond for the 5th straight time. Roger Merritt in front. Man on the mark. 25
players to control that ball today. Bears, I'm sure the Bears will play well. There's McIver. With the confidence of that win last week will make a big difference. Alan McKenna. Good kick right down towards the centre of the ground. Reynolds picks it up and shuffles it out. Michael Thompson tunnel balls it. Meridor doing the hard work in the backs again. And I think he is playing again, Drew, as a ruck rover. Started off there looking quite ferocious at that centre bounce. Oh, nice looking kick too down towards full forward. Micken comes in late, punches it away. Matthew Knights was there. Long-headed rover for Richmond. There he is, shuffling it out to Waitman. Waitman a quick kick to centre wing. Lambert is there for Richmond. Taken away by Merritt. Gets in the hand pass to Michael Richardson. Wide to Campbell. Campbell has gone to the pocket. And he found a man out there deep in that pocket is Marcus Ashcroft. Ashcroft set it up to Capper. Capper at the back. Oh, Micken almost took that mark. Socked it off the ground. Still in front of the Bears goal. As players dive in on top of it and the umpire will throw it up.
Well, Hatch's only been going a minute or two, and look at the condition of them already. Keller coming up. Right in front of goal for the Bears. Out of defence. A hurried kick out there for Richmond by Kim. Here's Reynolds putting the hand pass wide. Campbell. Tunnel ball by Michael Pickering. Powell up over centre wing. Open forward line for the Tigers. Soccer off the ground. Covers good distance. But Brisbane Bears first back there in defence. They keep the hand pass away. Roberts. Scooped up by Justin Pickering to the goal square. And a good mark taken by Rod Lester-Smith in defence.
I said before the game how sensible it is of the Brisbane Bears players, and most of them are wearing long sleeves. Oh, that's a good mark. Craig Lambert, a lot of courage to chip it in front of his opponent and take that mark in front of Bain. Lambert.
I was just going to say, Peter, not a sensible kick there from Rod Lester-Smith, though, in these conditions.
Craig Lambert, oh, it won't be easy from that distance even with that heavy ball. He's gone for the torpedo punch, doesn't get onto it, hooks it slightly across and puts it through for their first score to the Tigers. One behind, Richmond. Brisbane Bears also on one behind. I notice there'll be a lot of goals kicked today, Drew. I think so.
Keith kicks in for the Bears. Straight up the centre. Could be dangerous, but a chest mark taken by Campbell on the South Australian state player. Lester-Smith puts it wide to centre wing. Leading the race here is Gibson. He's first there and has got a bit of space. His left footer, a centering kick. Diving attempt by Williams. Pushed in the back. Well, the only thing you could say about him there was he had front position. The Bears wanted to play on there with advantage and got down to Hardie in the forward pocket, but it's coming back to Mark Williams. Two kicks from goal from there. Kappa. No mark. Lee's good pick up. Good tackle by Kappa. And it's in the back, says the umpire, and Lees gets the free kick.
Well, a little bit unlucky there, Warwick Kappa. It was a good tackle, and you couldn't see him doing the hard thing.
Secret of today, you must be in front. There's Mark Roberts, had an excellent game against Carlton last week. Oh, look at that for courage. Alan McKenna, beautifully done. He's been in good form. Passes out to Justin Pickering. Pickering to centre wing. The mark dropped by Lester-Smith. Phillips was grabbed when he didn't have it. Could have been against Reynolds and Bengala's appealing for the free kick, but the umpire threw the ball up. If you're in first with the ball today, you'll get a lot of free kicks. Merritt tapping it wide. Pickering is there, and Knight. The umpire's found a free kick going to Richmond play. Now, this is Matthew Knight. He is a very promising player, this youngster. On the left foot to half forward, a four kick, and the mark has been taken down there by Brendan Phillips. Yes, it is the Port Wrestling player, but he and Lester-Smith look very alike. Beautifully shuffled out there to Michael Richardson. Touches it once on the ground, then again, racing into goal. He's 40, oh, he ran a mile. 45 metres out, kicks it. Hardie, too clever. He will go well under these conditions, Bernie.
Yes, very good use of the body, well positioned, and he used the strength there to push Alan McKenna off. Good play by Richardson running the ball down there in the forward line. Ran a long way. It's the strength of Brad Hardie.
9 goals against Carlton last week. Might come out to the right and open up the goals slightly. No, he runs in directly and kicks. And Brad Hardie has goal.
So 9 goals last week for Brad Hardie. He has been in tremendous form over the last couple of weeks. He started off the game well there. Always plays in long sleeve, so it doesn't matter to him whether it's hot or cold. There's a player that moves a lot, I think, of his feet with there, so I like Richmond there. There's a lot of receivers, but I think he's too good to be linked in the reserves.
Thrown up in the middle. Way out of the middle. Inside half forward. Gastev running the backline. 7 goals in the game under Ferrara earlier in the season. Had the ball up. Also with the umpire will throw it into the turf all day. All around the ground. Tossing it in the air. Back around this. Gosling, Waitman. Shuffles it out. High kick by Michael Pickering. Comes off hands, O'Keefe sweeps the hand pass to Merritt, who's been a star early with a mark of 4 possessions already. Away to Gibson running through the centre. Bears looking good. Gibson out in front of Kappa. Boy, almost took the mark. Gets the hand pass away. Williams. Open forward line here. Hardie has a break on them, and Brad Hardie will get his second.
So the Bears playing very well, working the ball well in conditions such as these, very wet conditions. The ball won't carry far. It's very important for the side to be playing in front. The Bears have been doing good work there by Kappa getting the ball into Mark Williams. Williams a quick kick. They're not messing around the Brisbane Bears. They're kicking it long, they're kicking it direct. And Brad Hardie left all alone in the forward line. He's his second.
Oh, he'll be a real danger player, Hardie. Already kicking 2. His confidence will be sky high after kicking 9 last week. And great play by Kappa. And the fact he kicked that winning goal, Bernie, will make a big difference to his confidence too.
He's playing a little bit more confident towards that doing something today.
Glove there. It's like a step-toe glove.
So commentator Don Scott used to wear gloves in the night game many years ago. There's the ball shuffled back to the Bears. There's Ryan. He's dropped what he should have taken there. Kick comes back towards Matthew Knight. Here's a chance for Richmond. Knight's long kick to the forward line. David O'Keefe is the man leading in the race with Jeff Hogg. Michael Gibson. Now it's Tim Powell, former Assumption College star. Playing his footballing school in Melbourne to Tony Free. Free hooks it back to the pocket. It was clever. Now, got a free kick coming back. It is to half forward to Richmond. So Tony Free will take this one. About 35 metres out from goal. It will be a very difficult kick under these conditions. And this man is going to be a very good player, isn't he, Richard? First year in league football was outstanding. Tony Free from 35 metres kicks and just pushes it to the right. Well, a fair bit in fact, and put it out of bounds on the ball.
Disappointment for him and Tigers. Kick taken in quickly. Fought pretty hard for that one to win a free kick or a mark. The umpire's going to come in and call it up. Inside the 50.
They're worth a mark under these conditions.
Cloud in the first game. There's Free. Clear the pack. Powell lost it. And eventually Poole will take a free kick here for Richmond. Trevor Poole.
Holding the man in to have the dragged off the ball through.
Too far out to score, kicking from the 50-metre line. Not a bad kick. Made the distance all right. But once again, out of bounds on the full.
Well, they're wasting their chances down there. The Tigers, a great start by the Bears. They lead by 2 goals. It comes towards half-back. Oh, that's a good mark for the wet ball by McKenna. Wanting to play on. There's plenty of wet weather up north. And they've been trained in these sort of conditions. Richardson has been amazing. He's been out of the side nearly all year. Cat back to centre. We have with McIver, a quick kick, Williams, to Ashcroft. And after it was Brendan Bauer. Now he was dragged off the ball also, and he didn't have it, so it's his feet. Umpires inconsistent in paying the man going into the ball.
the ground. A couple of Bears here unmarked. A little bit far for them, but they have to get after the ball. Gibson, short pass, and well delivered. Oh, he's playing on to Dixon. Oh, he's lucky to be allowed to go back and take a deliberate kick. Dale Dixon played at the MCG when he was with Melbourne. Up towards the goal square. Richmond players got into each other. Bain making a return this week. Kicks backwards. Outside the 50, and overrun by Campbell, but he's going to get another chance at it. Campbell up towards the goal square, and a chest mark taken in defence by Michael Pickering.
Pickering, well, Cabot chasing him. Oh, the short one, the marker's dropped. Now, this is Williams. He'll love these conditions. Back to Matthew Campbell playing well. The short pass is on. That is great play. And they're using the ball beautifully, the Brisbane Bears. Michael Richardson has taken this 25 to 30 metres out directly in front.
They do have a lot of skill in these guys. On the end of that pass, very good pass in these conditions. With the ball, it's not easy to deliver the ball by hand or by foot.
Mike Richardson, a very straight kick for goal normally, but his footing won't be easy here. All his kick that run off straight off the side of the boot. That's where you can't get proper footing. And his feet went from under him and off the side of the boot and out of bounds the ball went, deep in that forward pocket. Scoreboard shows the Brisbane Bears leading 2-1 to a point. I think there's Ryan with the big twist away. Dale Dixon tries to get the ball in play, but he's shuffled over the line by Tony Free. Will be a throw in again.
Bears have done most of the attacking and they have the score on the board, leading 13 to 1. 13 minutes left in the first quarter. Nickerson's attack. Good off the ground by Ryan. He puts it wide to Michael Pickering. Straight up the centre of the ground in the blue box. And Gibson's been a good player for the Bears. Knights across the free. Here's a chance for the Tigers. The ball holds up in the wet. Oh, there was a collision coming up, and did it come up? And Gastier threw himself straight at the ball and won the free kick. Well, I thought it was just about a dead heat.
Great courage by Gastier.
Across the Bain. Bain to Merritt and half forward. Nearly pay that in the wet. The umpire pays the free kick, not the mark. Well, Roger Merritt coming up for his 6th possession. Rogan roll. Former premiership centre half forward. Right to the goal square. Kappa stays at the back. Roving here by Williams. Back he goes. Snap for goal. He's cut off by Waite. I don't know whether he had first touch. Chance for Hardie still. Umpire didn't play Waiteman's mark. Picked up by McKenna. And McKenna pulled off his kick by Richardson. Ball still in. Williams back to Hardie for number 3. And I think he's kicked it. He has.
Oh, amazing goal there by Brad Hardie. 3 goals in this weather, in these conditions. A tremendous start for the Brisbane Bears. Tremendous skills. I think Wakeman would have been more advised, or better advised, to knock that one through the goals, and it would have been safe and first polish for sure there. Still out to Brad Hardie, and the next one snap the goal.
I think Waitman thought it was a mark and it was touched off the boot. I think that's what happened. 3 goals to Hardie. Goals the difference. What a great start by the Bears. This is Michael Pickering towards half forward. No mark. And shuffled out by Gibson. Knocked on by Lester Smith. Quick kick is by Brent Phillips, the centre wing. Oh, good use of the body. And it's got the Tiger 3 men to beat and still battle hard. Matthew Knights over to Waitman. Waitman off the side of the boot has put it out of bounds on the full. But really at this stage you'd have to say the Brisbane Bears handling the conditions much better.
Far more skills in this Brisbane Bears side than the Richmond players have.
Well, it's towards centre wing was by Matthew Campbell, and the ball spills off the hands of McKenna over the line. But what a great start. 3-1 under these conditions. They lead by 3 goals. Start by Matthew Campbell. 2 marks and 6 kicks already in these conditions. Poole. Grabbed by McIver. Umpire will throw it again. Over 10 minutes left in quarter time. And the Bears lead 19-1. 3 goals by Brad Hardie. Long centre half forward. Open forward line. Ball skims on. Chance here. Stripped off the ground by Powell. He tried to beat one and another and is caught by O'Keefe. What's that for? Well, it's got to be a fair tackle by the jumper.
Oh, that's a terrible decision.
He was dragged by the jumper, wasn't he?
He was. He was
Richmond's first. Yes. Well, very good. He took a real bath there. His head went about a foot under. So Richmond still looking for their first goal. The Bears 3-1, 2 behind.
David O'Keefe bringing it to the half-back line. And outside, do we play the free or the mark, Bernie? The free. Well, number 43 you see on screen is Mark Summers. The short one is on. Oh, kicked it straight to Brendan Phillips, who's playing well. He's gone wide, and they really aren't controlling that ball well, the Bears. Wesley Smith. Rod Wesley Smith had an excellent year, been one of their better players all year. Better wing, McKenna and Mark Williams combined. Williams towards half. Well, let's have a look at Hardie's skills. God, he tried to tap it under the leg with his opponent and chase it up. Umpire calling the play on. Mark Williams off the ground, a sensible play. Richardson couldn't pick it up. Into the back of Lambert. Went Williams, and that will be a free kick to Craig Lambert at half back.
Brad Hardie might have a new opponent already. Stephen James playing his first senior game of the year. Going back onto the man with 3 goals. Got good mark here to Kappa, just outside 50. He won the game against Carlton last week from a kick this long, but he won't do it today. Hardie again in the thick of things. Williams a great hand pass. Ashcroft bowled over. No free kick for that. The hand pass comes back, and out of defence McLeod. First game of Ruckman. Gibson been a good player for the Bears. Centering kick. Nickett at the back. Ashcroft, the Queenslander, to Hardie, unselfishly, back to Campbell, 40 metres out, Bain almost drags it in. Can't, only 20, 30 metres out from goal, he goes backwards. Gibson again. Kick off line and goes through for a behind.
Well, young Mark McLeod was the right thing to take him through. 3-2, played 2 behind. Jeff Rains is warming up on the boundary line. Pretty good player. Jeff Rains will have on the interchange, and also Peter Wilson is on the interchange. 2 pretty good players to start off on the bench. Now, Pickering. Time wide, the Richmond player slipped over. What sort of boots they're wearing, some of these players, when they slip over so much, really?
Oh, they couldn't. They could
flippers today.
They could wear the molded fellas and
I'll tell you what, old style stops at the go, those old leather ones, they've hit the shot, the long one. You wouldn't be slipping over like that. Well, players charging up. Not being a bit hard, do you?
They're in a museum, those leather tops.
The molded, but they make them too short these days, those tops. They've gone half forward for the Bears. It's been a terrific opening by the Brisbane Bears. Micken. Shuffle over the line. There's Paul Kelly in the background in the green tracksuit. Former Melbourne fielder. And now he's the smallest player in league football for winning. Very poor player.
Comes to the back, chance for the Bears again. Bain number 22 after it. Merritt gets the kick away, good distance. Capper at the back, dumps down to the front. Overrun by Hardie. Michael Pickering in defence. Mark Williams gets in. Tunneled out to Knight. Knight finds the player at centre half back. There's Ryan to take the chest mark. Puts it out to centre wing. Oh, what a climb! What a mark by Frank Gallis. Well, that'll be the mark of the day, no worry, in these conditions. Gary Frangalis up inside half forward. Hogg too far out. Down towards the pocket. Oh, it's a good kick. It's not in the pocket. It's in the goal square. Waitman, did he kick it? Up behind.
It might have come off Brendan Phillips.
There was a great opportunity there. Gone one for two Richmond players, and they missed it up in the goal square.
Well, there's not bunching enough forward. It's not a forward day, of course. The kick comes out towards Justin Pickering. He takes the safe mark on the chest. They have had it down there a few times. But they're yet to score a goal. They're on 3 behind. The Brisbane Bears on 3-2. Now the short one is on, and that's poor defensive play by the Bears to allow Matthew Knight to take an uncontested mark. So he was only 25 to 30 metres out on a 45-degree angle, but there's the young Roberts, Jeff Hogg, dives on top of the ball. He's not really trying to get it out, and the umpire will throw it up. And the worst I've ever seen was that MCG ground burning.
Yeah, definitely. But I haven't seen like this for a number of years.
It's rained for about 7 weeks straight. It's our first wet weekend. Thrown up, Richmond in attack. Where he lost it comes to Roberts. Did well there, Mark Roberts, with a wet heavy ball. Up the centre wing. Rain stuck on the ground for the Bears. Missed the attempt at soccer. Ball goes out of bounds. The Rain and his opponent. He's up. He's a change. Well, get Rain going with in these conditions. Rain like that, no good. Boundary throwing. Nickett Quinlan. Campbell. Loses it. Knights. Fumbles. Umpire will have to call this up. Free kicks would be very important today, Bernie, and at the moment, the umpires have got it spot on 9 inches.
Yes, well, it's very important for the players to get in, play quickly the football, let's get to the bottom of the pack, and get in front.
Socket off the ground here by Gibson, who's been a good player. Hardie, oh, great play, out to Bain. Nobody in front of him, but they came from behind and got him. Holding the ball, David Bain. That was a magnificent tackle. Leads the tackler. The advantage comes to Richmond. The half-back, the hand pass to Waitman. He put it down in a hurry. Williams over the ball. Well played by Mark Williams. He loved this, the former Collingwood skipper. And eventually the umpire will have to throw it up again. That's over 2 minutes remaining. Quarter time. Bears 3-2 to Richmond, 4 behind. Waitman makes the return after injury. The star for Victoria in the state match against WA. Captain up towards centre wing. Peter Wilson was there on the ground. Couldn't take the mark. And it's rushed out of bounds by Gastev for throw.
Incidentally, you might see the Richmond players wearing black armbands, and I'm pretty sure that's in memory of the late Bill Timms, who was an administrator at Richmond for many years and a great Richmond and Melbourne player for many years gone by. Ball is on centre wing, and also worked for the VFL for a number of years too as the treasurer. Now this is Freddie Phillips at half-back, hooking it to the centre as the rain is really tumbling down now. Hard to pick up the players. That was Matthew Campbell getting it down to Dixon. Dale Dixon diving on top of it. He really could have been king for holding the ball then, but it's worse. Minutes go by. It's very dark. But you'll see tremendous skill down there considering the conditions. The players, modern day football, very highly skilled. As the ball is socket up the ground, right up towards the brilliant Hardie. Lost this one though. Michael Pickering. Quick kick out to his brother Justin. And in front of the Melbourne members stand here at the MCG, Justin Pickering has gone up, and this man has really improved his game. Mark Roberts, I reckon he must have lost about 8 or 9 kilos, Bruce.
Yes, he's going well this season. Tapped down outside Pickett. Dixon. And on the chest here of Bain. Time running out. 32 seconds left at quarter time. Bears in attack. Bain's kick inside half forward. Knocked down by Williams. An unknown player gets over the ball. And the whistle's gone. It's a Richmond free kick. Sorted out there by the umpire somehow. And we go to Brian Lee.
Lee from half-back. Time running out. Almost quarter time. And what a great start by the Bears. And those goals will be hard to get back by Richmond. Time clock ticking away.
Brad Hardie's 3 before the time, like a century before lunch.
Yes, it is. And after 9 goals last week, well, players find it very difficult. It's punched away by Merritt. There's the siren as Tony Tree kicks towards half forward. Brilliant quarter that by the Brisbane Bears. They lead at quarter time 3-2-20 to Richmond, 4 straight points.
The only goal scorer, Brad Hardie with all. Welcome back to the MCG in a wet and wintry Melbourne day. Temperatures struggling to 10 degrees at the moment. And here's the quarter time score. Brisbane 3-2, a great start leading Richmond 4 behind. The only goal scorer for the match has been Brad Hardie, who got all 3 in the first quarter. What a start by Hardie, who kicked 9 last week. Kevin Bartlett goals at all. The match between Fitzroy and North Melbourne, 6 points, plays awful. Well, you'd make a movie. This would be the scene of a movie for the end of the world, here at the moment. Match statistics, well, the kicks, most of them off the ground and passing Brisbane Bears long way in front and also in the market. And that's a distinct advantage. Free kicks finished up being 12-9. Richmond got the last 3 at the fourth quarter time. Tackles 9 each. That'll be a good stat today. Hit outs 9-8. 50-metre penalty today will be worth about 5 kicks. It only cost you 2 minutes. There. Start of the second quarter here at the MCG. The Bears with a distinct advantage after the first. First kick out of there by 3, but the whistle had gone. The umpire's going to sort out a free kick here. No, he's going to ball it up. Throw it in the air. Sad for Richmond because they've just got a 40-metre kick on.
The cricket pitch area really been swamped at the moment. There's Mark Roberts bringing it out towards Bain and sock it off the ground towards half-court for the Tigers. We'll do with a couple of quick goals and shuffle back to Matthew Knights. Knights to half-forward, but there's David O'Keefe. Half-back flank area. He's gone wide. Mark is not taken out there by Michael Pickering. He's back after him. Reeves at the half-forward. The flyer there with Gary Frank Garland. Gastev heads straight to the line, and I'm sure there'll be plenty of that sort of play today in this match. John Gastev, former West Coast Eagle, 3-2 win Brisbane. Richmond on 4 behind. Reynolds doing the ruck work for the Bears. It's twisted away from the Tigers. No, straight to Gastev again, and again he goes to the line.
Gastev named as an interchange today for the Bears that started in the 18th. Richmond's half-forward flank. Handed by Roberts. Out of there by Williams. Well, Richmond here, well played by Knight. Get moved the ball and kick to the advantage of his team. Trevor Poole marks, but he's still outside at half-forward. A bad kick in the conditions. So it drops a bit short. Rod Lester-Smith, with all his experience, takes the mark. Comes out wide. Poole, trouble for Bain. Ball chopped off. Played well, Trevor Poole. Centering kick, but he gave it straight away. Overrun by Lester-Smith. Free. Played for the free. It's only free. John, the umpire, will go to the air again.
Good to see Warwick Capel playing out of centre half forward. Brett Hardie Boots was playing full forward for the Richmond Bears, which is a good move in this position. Waitman, seen a lot of him so far. He's cleverly tapped it on. Scott McIver has put it out of bounds on the full, and it'll be a penalty kick down there to either Waitman or Poole. Players need to rain numbers down, and the conditions get heavier. The players are kicking shorter and shorter. In fact, I'm really surprised that the Bears are kicking, well, the end there, they're kicking that a little bit further. There's a kick from Waitman dropping short, punched away by Merritt. And how valuable are those 3 goals that Brad Hardie's going to be by the end of this game? Merritt, the youngster in Mark Summers. Summers in front, Merritt feels finally in front. There's Peter Wilson with a quick kick out of the pack across the face of goal, and he's put it out of bounds on the opposite side of the goal.
Bears good players have been Campbell, 9 possessions already. Merritt 7. Smith 3 marks and 4 kicks. Hardie 3 goals from 3 kicks. Comes to Roberts. Up to centre half back. Drops in the blue block. Reynolds. Williams. There are only 4 players forward at centre before the Bears started to move it forward this time. Bain unmarked centre wing. Went for a long one, didn't come off, and Lee's got in front of Kappa to take the mark. And there is a 50-metre penalty. Well, I don't know whether we'll see too many today, but a 50-metre penalty is a severe penalty today. Warwick should have been a bit more careful than that.
And I think he should have gone down on the mark too. You see Brian Lee's a good kick to half forward. Richmond, as the mark has been taken right up in that forward pocket by Tim Powell. Now, he was champion schoolboy footballer as a full forward. He kicked a lot of goals. You see that in replay.
With a hurry kick again, the advantage of playing in front. The ball won't carry a long distance. And the advantage that there is shown by being in front. Brisbane their player, Roger Merritt, right out of position.
Now, this might look an easy shot. It's only about 15 to 20 metres out, but under its conditions, there are no easy kicks. As you can see by that, he would normally kick that one with his eyes closed and he's missed it. Tim Powell. So the Tigers still get to score a goal. They're on 5 behind to beat the Bears 3-2.
Among the stars for the Tigers at the moment, Michael Quinlan with 8 kicks, Trevor Poole with 7, and Knights has had 9 possessions. David O'Keefe kicks in. Good distance, gets it outside 50. Not a bad mark and paid in the wet conditions. Played there to Des Ryan. He plays on, back towards the goal square. Off hands, Gibson, and with a rush it through for a behind. Gibson also has done well with 6 kicks for the Bears. Keeps the kick in. Over in the broadcast side of the ground. Kicked the player out, and Kim took the easy mark. 60 metres out from goal. Kick by Kim. Huge pack. Line got high. Fighting hard for it. Umpire will throw it up again. Might give you up to date with 3 kicks, but at the moment they favour Richmond 13-9 after the last order.
The umpires, Gary Gold and Mike Poole, job for them today under these conditions. Difficult for players and umpires. Mark Roberts levelling after Matthew Campbell, then to Frank Bain, but Bain takes it over the line. This is 40 metres out from the Richmond goal. Now 6 straight behind. Richmond 3 goals too, so they've had more scoring shots, in fact. Now it comes to Pickering. Pickering now with the ball over the umpire. And the umpire thought so there'll be another throw. Nothing scientific about football today. Time left in the second quarter, just under 18.5 minutes left. As it's at half court with Pickering in again, a good kick. Here come the Bears. This is Mark Roberts from half back to Jeff Rains, and Rains has taken a good mark. This is dangerous for Richmond. Rains is a big kick. Now he kicks it wide across the goal, across the ground I should say. Diving attempt there was by Gibson. Kim caught by Hardie. Punched away there by McKenna, then returned by Leeds. A chance now for another Brisbane Bears through Brett Phillips to boot it off the ground. McIver. Trying to get away with that ball, and the umpire will come and throw it up again.
Yep, we're sorry for these players that have been in those conditions. It's a real slop.
Play 6, the Bears 14 points in front, 17.5 minutes left in the second quarter. Jump to Campbell, high kick and out wide. Chase on. Campbell and Richardson broke there. Hardie takes the ball. 3 kicks for 3 goals. 4th kick won't score. Well done by Ryan to pick up the half volley well. Gets the hand pass away. Now Thompson, he's caught by McIver. Just gets the hand pass to Powell. Loses it in the tackle. And eventually Richmond out of trouble. Up to centre wing. Merritt on, hurried by Roger Merritt there, and he comes out to the football. Well played by Merritt. Sensational football to Bain. Up the full forward, Tapper's there. Didn't get 2 touches at it. Nick in front of the pack, paddles it across almost a throw. Bain a snap, across the face of goal, and the ball will hurry out of bounds.
Just getting back to Roger Merritt stepping out on the half-court flank, magnificent. 2 or 3 diving attempts when Richmond players are coming and kicking to try and kick the ball off the ground, eventually tap it out to a player that teammates advantage.
You're wondering why it looks a bit lighter. They've put the lights on here at the MCG. There's Tapper trying to go for a big kick. Bain caught, or copped it across the head. And he had to get a free kick for that one. It was a very hard and high tackle. Roger Merritt's coming in to remonstrate. They get out of his way. Good smart turning.
That was much too high. Free kick being played against Tony Free, and he really felt that one too.
Right across the ear
down to Knight. His kick calls is about 6 metres away. Phillips loses it. Throwing themselves in there. Umpire again will have to throw it into the air. Well, we're in a sweep at lunch. The first goal scorer, none of us had Brad Hardie. Unpredictable competition amongst them. Richmond's first goal went on first.
Well, they don't look like anyone at the moment because the fact the players are kicking the ball about 25 metres. It's so difficult for forwards under these conditions. And this man has been very skillful today, Matthew Campbell. That's a better kick. Just out a 45-metre kick towards half forward. Kappa's trying hard down at half forward. Kappa is on. The umpire's sensibly paying that that ball was held because we've got to give the players a bit of leeway, and the umpires are doing that. Good umpiring so far. McKenna. Back that one down to Kappa. Trevor Poole with a hurried kick. Back it comes to Campbell, who's playing a great game. Smothered off his boot. Alan McKenna. Centre wing. Mark is stopped there by Summers. Eventually it's Steve Mendelson bringing it back towards the centre of the ground. Well, plenty of Bears players over to Mark Roberts and Brendan Phillips. Roberts up the side of the group. Kappa against Michael, no, against Lee. Kappa trying to tap it on. Now he tunnel balls it back to Scott McIver. Now that's Brendan Bauer, the Richmond player at the base of the pack. The umpire again will ball it. This will be a record game for ball-ups, I think, Drew.
Paul Campbell, he's leading Quinlan off the ground to 11. Michael Quinlan for Richmond has 9. Tap down, goes to Roberts. Drop kick, 6 popped it. And he defended. Roberts again, good pick up, good spin out of trouble. Puts the hand pass out into open space. There's such a thing today. Williams smothers that kick well. Campbell another kick. Here's a chance for the Bears. Richardson marks. Oh, but the 40 metres might bother him. Again, the Bears might have a breeze this quarter. He's got very close to the man on the mark and is buried. Umpire says play on. It comes to range. The hand pass in. Still a chance for the Bears. Flicked out by Dixon, looked like a throw. Still the umpire says play on. Waitman's kick goes 8 metres. Lambert there. Hand pass intercepted here. Campbell! Offline. And I think he scored. No, out of bounds on the full.
If he kicked that one, he shut the gate. It'll be hard to catch up 4 goals under these conditions. And number 40 on screen is Stephen James, who has hardly played a game this season this year.
Well, this is his first. That was his first in his career total of 64, but it's his first this year.
Well, he's a former full forward. Played in a number of positions. Played in back pocket, fullback, did everywhere, Stephen James. That long kick, the torpedo punted out towards the half-back line. Steve Middleton allows the ball to pass over the line. 3-3-21 for Brisbane Bears. Richmond on 6 straight behind. Lincoln. The Richmond players bump it away. This is Gary Frangalis. Great to see him back in the side. He's very prone Frangalis. Justin Pickering from Lambert. We haven't seen a lot of Craig Lambert today. But half forward for the Tigers. The hand pass comes out to Justin Pickering. Pickering to half forward. This is Matthew Knight's. Oh, great skills by Knight. Shuffles it out. Comes to full forward. Is it a mark to Poole? No. Little Wilson is doing for a quick kick. The umpire's having none of that. The ball will be thrown up right in front of the Richmond goal.
Oh, it's pretty lenient. The hand passes, a couple of those. It's definitely like Norris.
Knocked out to Dixon. Out of bounds in the forward pocket. We'll have a boundary go. Brad Hardie kicked 3 goals in the first quarter, and they're the only goals we've had for the match. There's 3-3, Richmond 6 behind. Chance for the Tigers here. Lambert over the ball, one of the leading hand passes in the game. Roberts a good hand pass. Campbell, Williams, back to Matthew Campbell. He's absolutely starring in these conditions. The big time hand pass intercepted by Knight. Gasset. Burrowing through like a beaver. Keith charging at him. Good pick up by Free. Campbell into him. Gained a couple of metres. Boundary throw in. Roberts saying that he can go to bounds on the full. The umpire
covered in mud on the left of the screen. Summers. Looking for that one. Michael Pickering back towards the pocket. A chance for Richmond. Frangalis with the flyer. He's got to carry Frangalis. A quick kick. Now, was that touched off the boot? No. So that's out of bounds on the full. Penalty free kick will go to the Brisbane Bears. There's Frangalis. And let's see who it is. That's David O'Keefe. Very difficult to pick up the players, but it's definitely David O'Keefe.
Now York. Double ground by Williams. Bauer.
And the trouble is with days, the blondes go dark.
Right. Normally you can pick somebody like Craig Lambert. He always wears long sleeves. Brad Hardie the same. So many wearing long sleeves today. No help for Jonathan. Now down to Michael Pickering. He's been a top player for the Tigers. Waitman's hand pass intercepted by Williams. Kick close to out of bounds. Out on the ball. And another free kick to Richmond. This one was taken by Des Ryan. Out the first game of the ruckman, up to half forward. No kick. Just gets clear. Oh, clean off. That was Ryan. That's Cloud again. Summers it was. Now, nobody should have a name like Summers on a day like today. Free kick for the Bears goes to Dixon.
Dale Dixon. Frank Bradley right out of the game last week against Carlton. Helped the Bears win the game. And probably sealed the fate of Robbie Ward. That's Des Ryan getting his free kick at half-back. Ryan, well, that's a nice kick. Almost a mark. And that's a free. See, Merritt put his body in, Bernie.
Oh, tremendous performance by Roger Merritt, doing the hard things.
Merritt, the former Essendon star, premiership centre-half forward. And he's winning his money for the Brisbane Bears. It's in every week. Shuffled out from Lambert, he couldn't pick it up. Well, that's a free kick. Could have been to the Bears there.
Yes, he deserved it because he got in front and put his body in the right position to receive the free kick.
No goals kicked in the second quarter again. We have 8 minutes left. Comes to Dixon. Kick smothered. Lambert. Oh, well, nearly went out. And the boundary umpire was about to signal out, but I'll keep going. Now it's out. And we'll have another throw.
Will we see another goal? That's the big question.
For the entire day.
Well, haven't seen one in this quarter. There's just under 8 minutes to play left. Micken goes down to 3 and smothered off his boot. Matthew Campbell off the ground. Mark Williams just goes in, grabs it, kicks it long. Hardie was grabbed. Yes, free kick. Good umpiring to pick that up, Brad Hardie. Now, looking for the long one. Straight up in the air towards the pocket. And that's an excellent mark with the wet ball by Chris Jim. Beautiful mark. Onto the left he goes. And brings it out wide to Des Ryan. Ryan and half back. And I think they got into his back. The umpire didn't think so. Matthew Knights under his right foot brings it to the centre wing. Lester Smith, good skill. But slipped over at the crucial moment. Dustin Pickering in after it again off the ground from Lambert. Lambert ducks the head. Then is grabbed when he didn't have the ball and must receive a free kick. Craig Lambert, and he does. Centre wing.
Under 7 minutes to go to half-time. And the Bears lead 21-6. Kick put out wide or dropped in the mud there. McKenna grabs it. Goes back with his hand pass. The ball just stuck in the mud. Mark Williams has been a sensational player for the Bears. This kick is great. And a defensive mark taken by Cloud. Cloud to half forward. Rains let it go. And Phillips took the mark for the Bears. Phillips goes out wide towards the far side. Kappa is in good position for this. With him is Lee. Kappa used his body well to get in front. Looks out wide for a teammate. We'll have to go again. Warwick Kappa. Holding the ball against the Richmond Bears player who was over there, Dixon. And the free kick goes to Powell.
Brendan Bauer, centre wing. Marked off by Ashcroft, but then was grabbed when he didn't have the ball. And right on the ball again is Ashcroft. Only the youngster, Marcus Ashcroft, first year in VFL football. Well, it's good. He's a good player. whistle too. The Bears players stood back as if the umpire had blown the whistle, and then they received a free kick. Now, who was it? Middleton? I think Steve Middleton it is. The half forward. Marked off by Leeds. Mark Williams cleverly to Michael Richardson. Two former Collingwood stars combining onto the left with Richardson. Looking for Hardie, who is now being attended by Stephen James. And the ball beat them all over the line, but this time it's deep out in the Bears' forward pocket. Now, if they get a goal here, they'll be very hard to beat.
Mark Williams, 16 possessions, 9 kicks, 7 hand passes. With Hardie in. Only goal scorer for the match. So I will throw it up again. And right in just about the heaviest mud on the ground. 10 fine weekends we've had. Made up for today. Williams went without it. Poole goes back. Wait, kicks about 12 metres. McKenna after it. Kick by McKenna had nobody to kick to. In fact, he kicked it out of bounds on the full. It'll be a Bears 3. Under 4.5 minutes left. Rains takes the kick. Not bad distance in these conditions. Chance for the Bears. Ryan. Oh, danger. On the 50 metres. Campbell. Here's the pass to the forward line. Oh, Capper almost. Scooped off the ground by McIver. Out wide. Lester Smith. And he's missed it.
Great chance for Warwick Capper there to take a mark, but I don't know why he went for it one-handed, Peter, instead of going for it. Well, in these conditions, hard enough to take it with two hands.
And he almost took it too. So, with two hands, I'm sure he would have. There's McKenna bringing it to half-back. Merritt doing the hard work again. Trevor Poole dragged off the ball. Was that a free kick to Merritt? No. Justin Pickering, a good kick out of the centre. Lester Smith stuck back after. No, it's not. It's David O'Keefe who's back. O'Keefe to half forward. Up they go. Nicken was there. Beautifully picked up by Des Ryan. And Ryan brings it towards North. Long kick. Peter Wilson crashes into the back of his opponent. Umpire lets it go. Here's Craig Lambert. A chance here for the Tigers to score a goal. Up in front of the goal, kicked away by Tim Powell, still a chance, but the Bears rush it through to John Gaskett for another behind for Richmond. So they move on to 7 behind, and Brisbane on 3-4. So that's 7 scoring shots. Well, it's not really 7-7, but there's been a couple of out of bounds.
3 rushed also, Peter.
Richmond have won the quarter, 3 behind to 2. Roberts, out the centre wing. Reynolds. Well done in the third. Merritt, not too good on the turn, over his head. On a dry day, you're pinging for throwing it, but they let him get away with red-hot murder there. Bain. Oh, he played it for a long time. The umpire again put the whistle away. Bain kept on going. The half forward. The Richmond fans not happy with that one. Phillip, back to Kappa. And the hand pass by Pym. Bauer. Now a Richmond player held when not in possession. Free kick will come across here to Leeds.
Well, I reckon the umpire's been outstanding. So let it go. They're not playing the jiggy touch with ones, and that's good. Shuffle out. He says Ryan again. Up towards half forward. That's Brisbane Bears. Defence is playing well, but pretty easy for them. Peter Wilson. Hurry kick towards the pocket. Tim Powell showed a lot of courage. He's got it. Brings it back, but it's a mark for David O'Keefe. They're doing well in defence, the Bears. Out wide. Time for Brendan Phillips, Justin Pickering, attacked by Bain. Pickering after, oh, 3. Went in very, very hard. Tony Free in after it again. There's Craig Lambert, in difficult position. Pringalis. Now it's Matthew Knight. He's tackled. Quick kick is by Michael Pickering. Up the side of the Brisbane players. Dive in after it. Here's Trevor Poole. Shoots. And is that their first? It is.
Well, they deserve that one, Richmond. They fought hard to get the ball down on their forward line. And Ryan played it well from centre half back on a couple of occasions. Long kick straight down the ground. Got it into the forward line quickly where there wasn't many Bears players. There's a chance there for the Richmond forwards to be one out with their opponent. Look at that. Terrible conditions to play football in. Spills to Poole. And he kicks Richmond's first goal with 1 minute and 30 seconds to go in the quarter.
few of them. Williams a top player. Drop short of Hardie. Lees is back there. 6 feet out of the mud and goes wide, but too wide. Out of bounds on the full by 6 centimetres.
You can see the mark there, right next to the player on the mark where it went out of bounds.
That's the difference. Free kick to McKenna. Too far out to score. Heck, he hasn't even got it into play. Out of bounds.
The boundary umpire was really watching them. There's only 30 seconds of play left in this quarter, so McKenna could set it up in the goal square, but Stephen James from the back pocket, that's a beautiful kick right out towards the half-back line to steer them out of danger. Number 43 at the bottom of the pack is Mark Summers. Time clock ticking down. I doubt that there'll be another score in this quarter. Richmond leads 3-4 to Richmond 1-7, and it'll be anyone's game in the second half. There's the umpire throws it up. There's the siren. We're in the second quarter here at the MCG under very difficult conditions. The Brisbane Bears lead Richmond. They lead 3-4-22 to Richmond 1-7, a total of 13.
Well, that was a good quarter. Half-time at the MCG, and the Bears still lead by 9 points, although Richmond got the only goal of that quarter. Just before the siren, Trevor Poole got the Tigers' first goal for the match, but Brad Hardie's 3 goals in the first quarter could be vital in the overall. A very low-scoring affair. In fact, Richmond did pretty well there to outscore the Bears, which are looking into the breeze and into the mud in that sense. So the Bears, with Brad Hardie's 3 goals, have the advantage to half-time, but pretty hard to pick a winner at this stage.
Anyone's game, Bill. They got a great start in the first quarter. Hardie's 3 goals, virtually playing at football, with Kappa playing at the ground. But anything will happen in these conditions.
Well, I think that was a very vital goal that Trevor Poole got just before half-time, and I think Richmond really picked up their play towards the end of that second. But look at the courage shown there. I think that is Alan McKenna. Terrific mark, and the cleverness of Hardie to kick 3 goals under these conditions in that first quarter. They could be match-winning goals. He kicked 9 against Carlton last week, and the Bears have been very, very impressed with their handball, their tackling, and I reckon that win last week has given them that much confidence. Even guys Mark Roberts and Michael Gibson are very improved players.
Yeah, it looks a better side on paper today. There's one player that has played very well. Williams has had 17 possessions. Also Campbell with 18 possessions. So that's been very important. Roger Merritt playing in this slop as it is. He's put his body over the ball, done all the hard things. There's a goal that, well, was probably a lucky goal for the Brisbane Bears. Dale Waitman thought he had the mark. It was kept in play. It should have been rushed through, and then Brad Hardie followed up, kicked a very clever goal. But Richmond fought hard to get back into the match. Haven't been able to get the goals on the board, probably because they haven't been as direct. There's a great mark by Frank Gales. Any mark overhead today is a good mark, but he took a very strong mark. 2 bites. Tremendous to see, but there's one that Richmond should have kicked. They really messed it up, and the Brisbane Bears player was able to rush in and rush it through. There's a chance for Waitman, and there's the Bears player just able to chip in and deny them the goal.
Good camera shot of that one too. You see the goal umpire was right. It merited, as Bertie said a moment ago, doing the hard work, but a lot of them wearing lost. Here's Bain, where he cops David Bain, where he cops a very high tackle across the head. Now, he had that shot from 25 metres out and didn't make the distance. That's how difficult the conditions are. That's a good overhead mark by Chris Pym. You see the slow motion shot against Michael Richardson. And players very highly skilled under these things. This player is going to be an excellent player in the future, Matthew Knight. I think this is where Trevor Poole comes up with his goal. You see it shuffled out to Poole just before half-time. A very valuable goal, that one, of the Richmond side.
Here are the match statistics. Nothing in the kicks, hand passes. The Bears leading by 5 there, and by 4 in marking. Free kicks, nothing there. So the stats all the way down, really. Not much in it. It's going to be desperation, smothering, whatever else.
Well, they've evened up a little bit since quarter time. The Bears were winning 2 of those stats very well, and Richmond have evened them up. Probably a sign, Bernie, that they're coming good this time.
Richmond probably top in the quarter, but they just couldn't get the goals on the board.
Okay, well, it's 9 points the advantage to the Bears at half-time. Still anybody's game. We'll be back with you at the MCG after a short break. 3 goals by Brad Hardie in the first quarter, all important. In these conditions, you'd just about pick 20 blokes of Brad Hardie field, wouldn't you?
Well, he's made a good move for him, I suppose. Playing Brad Hardie was good forward and moved Warren Trevor up the ground. Paid dividends in that first quarter with those 3 great goals by Brad Hardie, probably worth 7 on any guide load. But really, we're seeing a game of rugby today, aren't we? There's players moving up and down the ground. They're not playing any set positions. It's more of the players just driving in, putting their bodies over the ball. The players, the team that is the most desperate, the team that wants to win most, will win today. There's no doubt about it, because it's today for desperate football.
The Richmond came back in the second quarter, though. We're into the breeze, and that goal just before half-time was pretty important.
Very handy goal. They wouldn't want to have been 3 goals down at half-time. That goal by Trevor Poole was very, very handy, and the stats evened up in that second quarter. Richmond were coming good towards the end. I think we're in for a ding-dong second half.
We certainly are. At half-time at the MCG, it's the Bears. 3 goals for, leading Richmond 1-7. Welcome back to the MCG, and progress scores in 3 matches being played today here at the MCG. The Bears leading Richmond by 9 points. The VFL Park Footscray look as though they have a winning break over St Kilda already. 7-4, 46 to 2-7, 19 in the conditions. And a 2-goal lead to North Melbourne over Fitzroy could be pretty handy, especially considering it's 11 scoring shots to 4 at Princes Park. Low scoring games after a record-breaking run that we've had in Melbourne over the last few weeks. Players back out on the ground. The Bears have come out, apart from Brad Hardie and Mike Richardson, and the Jumpers they wore, and Warren Trevor as well. The Jumpers they wore in the first half, and Richmond have done us a bit of a favour, and they've come out. Nice clean one. So how long will that last? Let's take a look at some individual statistics. Roger Merritt in these conditions. His first quarter was outstanding, 7 possessions. He added 3 more in the second quarter. A total of 10 to half-time. He had 4 free kicks. Couple of hit outs. Matthew Campbell, look at his statistics. He's had 15 kicks in these conditions to half-time, plus 3 hand passes, 3 marks as well. Mark Williams, he's one of those players who burrows under packs in these sort of conditions. 10 kicks and 7 hand passes to an even spread in the first 2 quarters. There's Ryan, 8 kicks and a couple of hand passes, a couple of marks, and he's also received 3 free kicks. Trevor Poole, who kicked an important goal for the Tigers just before half-time, 10 kicks and 1 hand pass. And Michael Pickering, particularly in the first quarter when he had 7 kicks, a total of 11 for the match, plus 1 hand pass, 2 marks, 2 free kicks, and 1 tackle for Michael Pickering. Looks like the umpires might have come out fresh here as well to start this second half. A 9-point lead for the Brisbane Bears. The Tigers all in pits. And a couple of the Brisbane Bears. It won't last long, and we'll start with another throw up again in the middle. 3 goals for the Bears. All 3 goals kicked by Hardie in the first quarter. 1-7 Richmond. The umpire will have to come in again. Start again in the second half. Pretty easy at all. Mark McLeod with the youngster there, number 39. First league game, he's stuck it off the ground. First goal in this quarter is very, very important. Move it off the ground again. Preston gets in there after it. It comes out towards this is Chris Pearson's attacked by 2 Brisbane Bears. That was Summers. He's down towards half forward. Williams. Now, here's Mark Williams again. He's playing a great game. The danger man Hardie waits at the back. He's got it. Brad Hardie, an open goal, kicks and bounces which side? The wrong side, I think. Yes, and Kappa going crook about it too. Should have handballed it over, I think, too. Should have been a gimme goal. Warren Kappa was standing just about on the end of the 10-metre square. Brad Hardie ignored it. I agree with that. That probably cost him a goal. Well, it's short of their close game. That could be right. McIver marks the kick on the 50. Got McIver round onto the left wing. Not a great kick. And the mark taken by Trevor Poole at centre half back. Poole out to Waitman. To gain some pace in the moving footing. Waitman again puts it out in front of goals, but it's all the Bears. Here's Campbell to the weak. Eventually gets it away, not out of trouble yet. Luckily the Gastev, side of the boot job, and out of bounds.
Well done, Gastev, on about 3 occasions. He's been able to get the ball across the boundary line. Good defensive play under these very sloppy conditions.
Well, this throw-in will take place at the 50-metre line. And a goal that Richmond really put them right back in the game. All the umpires interpret that. Most of the day, Bernie, the umpires have said that that is hold, the ball being held to the player. That's good.
I think it's been good the umpire tonight.
So there's Gary Bengales trying to get away with the ball. Good kick by Dale Dixon. Waitman loses it. Kicked away by Brenton Phillips off the ground, and eventually the ball goes wide. Mark getting his hands it back in gentlemanly fashion. About 75 metres around from the Richmond goal, with Summers punches it down. Bengales has pushed it to half forward, taken by Michael Richardson. Getting down that range, receiving from his teammate Matthew Campbell. Oh, Poole went for a fresh air shot. Now here's Bain. Bain to half forward. Charging after his Ashcroft. Marcus Ashcroft, he's lost it. Mark McLeod, he's lost it also as the kick comes down towards half forward to the Bears. This is Brendan Bauer. Shuffled out by McIver. Kick comes to Mark Williams, taken away from him. Michael Richardson onto the left, brings it back in front of goal. Now who's there? Hardie waiting at the back. Drags his opponent away from it. Hand pass comes back to Matthew Knight. Lambert. Justin Pickering. Oh, that's good backing up by Richmond. And a beautiful smother. Kicked away by James towards centre wing and Waitman. Waitman tried to tunnel it. The umpire said he was glad when he didn't have it. Justin Pickering wanted to play on with advantage and was going to look at the umpire for not paying advantage. Hurls it back in his skipper. Free kick to Waitman. Good distance, 40 metres. 45 metres to half forward. Merritt. We're in a real scrounger today, Roger Merritt. Roberts loses control. Poole dragged down by Merritt when he didn't have it. Now advantage in pace. Bengales goes for a short pass. Kicks into Gastev. Chance might have gone begging there. Chance here for Powell. Up into the goal square. Which way will it mount? It's a goal!
Yes, they fought hard for that, Richmond. Get down on the forward line. And Powell, who's been a busy player, been fighting hard for possessions. Probably one of the most instructive forwards that Richmond had in the side. There's Powell, excellent pick-up. Just bouncing nicely for him. With a little bit of a leg break. And finally, Richmond's second goal on the board.
The Brisbane Bears now lead by only 4 points, and that's put a different slant on the game. Here's Trevor Poole coming through the centre, off the side of the boot. The mark has been taken by Gastev. And the Bears are going to be under a bit of pressure, I should say, in this quarter. Gastev, the centre of the ground, Richardson's working hard. He's taken a nice mark on the chest. Over to Brenton Phillips. Phillips to half forward and twisted away out towards the half back line. There's Michael Pickering, a quick kick to the centre of the ground. Matthew Knights over to Lambert. They're looking good, the Tigers. The short one. They're starting to cover a bit more territory with their kicks down that end. That was Gibson shuffling it away. Bengales has got it. Looking for a hand pass. He kicks it instead right out towards the pocket. And he's found Littledale Waitman right out on that boundary line. Now, the distance would be a big doubt here, I would think.
It's very wide out there. Waitman leading very wide to the pocket and on a very tight angle.
But a goal would put Richmond in front. He's had 10 kicks. Let's see if he can make the distance. Dale Waitman, he hooked it across his body. There's a pack of players there. The mark is dropped. Here's a chance for Wilson. Tries to get boot the ball. Can't do so. The players pounce in on top of it. And the umpire will have to ball that one up. Richmond supporters didn't think so. They thought it should have been holding the ball.
David O'Keefe, last one up. Chance for Richmond going up around the ground. The knock comes out towards the boundary line. Beat them out of play. Great by the Bears. Well, I wonder had Brad Hardie and Master Kappa kicked the goal to stretch the margin, that would have buried Richmond. Now, there's one kick the difference. Well, Powell again, high tackle. It's free.
No doubt.
Yeah, they shouldn't complain about that one. Good decision by the umpire. Have a look again. There it is. The tackle in the first instance was definitely high.
Gamble the offender, and Tony free with this free kick for Richmond to put the Tigers 2 points in front. Breeze is favouring Richmond this quarter. Good kick. Different complexion on this match now.
The Sticks are looking a lot better since quarter time. They've been the better side, and they're starting to get a little bit of run into the game, moving the ball much more directly than they did in that first quarter, where they tended to go short and across the ground. And the free kick again. And Tony free. Shot at goal, which was very good, kicking from a very gluey patch of the ground.
Richmond lead now by 2 points, and that would be the first time they've led for the game, I would think. And, well, they're playing better than the Bears at the moment. You can see it 10 minutes before half-time. They really picked up and started to play good football. The 39 is youngster Mark McLeod going for that hit out. The Bears really could do with a quick goal just to stem the tide a little bit. Look at that. Mumphead in the centre. Must repeat, the lights are on here, and well, I don't think you'll be able to see the players if they hadn't turned the lights on. This is Michael Pickering, always tries really hard as he swings it to half forward, attempted punch on that range, getting it to a big kick right out wide to centre wing. Now, this is Alan McKenna onto the left and has put it out of bounds on the full, and Justin Pickering, I don't know why he's demonstrating, but he was doing his best when he was burning.
Yeah, a bit tough.
Kicked by Dixon. Oh, clever knock on by Merritt. Bauer, first one back there. He goes to the boundary line. Just outside of half forward for the Bears. Richmond lead by 2 points, and we have just over 16 minutes remaining in the third quarter. Zanotti on the ground for the Bears. Cleanest player there. Oh, a great little go of playing sand over Memphis. To Hardie. This is close again. Oh, just off. Oh, it might have been socket through. Just missed Hardie's kick. And Trevor behind him. Mark Zanotti chasing after that.
Good goal since Brad Hardie. He didn't even have to look where he was kicking. He just knew where the goals were.
A point the difference. Richmond lead. There's Ryan, punches it out in front of him. Alan McKellar is there, and also Scott McIver, and the ball taken over the line. 3-6 for Brisbane Bears, Richmond on 3-7. And this is anyone's game. Bears pretty impressive early. Here's Bain receiving from Richardson. Bain towards Zanotti. Matthew Knights lost it. Campbell. Hurry picked up in front of goal. Here's the danger man, Hardie, off the ground, has missed again, and through for a point. So the scores are dead set level. 3 goals, 7 apiece. All goals for the Brisbane Bears have been kicked by Brad Hardie. For Richmond, Tim Powell, Trevor Poole, and Tony Free have kicked 1 apiece.
Megan has been interchanged. Steve Reynolds kicked by McKellar, and well taken. Powell farms it out towards Michael Pickering. Up to half forward already, Richmond. They soccer it forward again, Frank Garlis. Poole now gets the hand pass in. Chance for Summers. Goes long, but it's way offline, down towards the forward pocket. And out of bounds. Look at Dale waiting for the skipper. Not happy with the disposal there of Mark Summers.
And he should go too, because Richmond had a great opportunity to kick a goal. They brought the ball right down the middle of the ground, and then Summers kicked it wide into that pocket.
So scores level, and the Tigers in attack again. 14 and a half minutes left in this quarter. Clean possession, Zanotti shrugs the tackle. Drives it back towards centre wing. Williams is there. With him McKellar. Oh, great stuff. McKellar to throw himself at Williams' shin and win a free kick.
Yeah, tremendous courage going there by McKenna. One thing playing in these conditions, the players know that they can throw themselves on the bottom of the pack and they won't, well, they very rarely get hurt because the conditions as they are, the players just slip and slide. And they don't, well, I suppose in the hard grounds where you can see grazing and so forth. McKenna there, great courage.
Towards half forward, the kick goes, and that's a nice mark by David Bain. Worked very hard. Phillips has the ball smothered off the boot. Oh, that's thrown out. And the umpire right onto it. Justin Pickering, a definite throw, that one. Didn't think so, but it was a throw. This is Merritt. Transferring the ball back to Brendan Phillips. And Phillips at half back, the wobbly one to centre wing. Oh, that's a good mark with the wet ball by Mark Summers. As the rain continually tumbles down, Zanotti wouldn't be used to these conditions coming from the west. Now, Campbell is off with a free kick before that to Mark Zanotti, halfway between centre wing and half-back flank. Oh, the kick has got about 20 metres, but it's landed in the hands of Campbell, who is a beautiful kick. Up to half-forward and Michael Richardson, who kicks it away. Punched away, I should say. There's Scott McIver to Richardson, back to McIver. Here's a chance for the Brisbane Bears. McIver sets it up in front of goal. The mark is dropped. Matthew Knight throws it out in front of himself. Waitman receives over the leads. Hurry kick out towards Pickering, and Pickering takes it over the line at half forward for the Bears.
Then a couple of good moves in the ball in this quarter. Richmond moved at the length of the ground and saw Summers badly. That was a good move by the Bears that time. Will throw it in the air again. Scores level, 3-7 apiece. Under 13 minutes left in three-quarter time. Bears led by 16 points at quarter time. It's just like a cricket score in these conditions. Trevor pulled off his kick. So Richmond have had the better of the play, certainly since quarter time. They had 1 goal 3 in the second quarter, Richmond. And 2 goals straight in this quarter. Not bad going. McIver loses it to Lees. Merritt over the ball. McIver will throw it up again. Best man on the ground, the man in white. He's had 150 possessions.
As you see, the ball thrown up to him, as Drew said. Oh, that's a free kick to Merritt. It was dragged round the neck, and the umpire right on the left. Very good umpiring display. Roger Merritt from 50 metres almost fell over as he kicked it. He's just come over the back. No one, excellent mark. That last line of defence, I think that was McLeod put that mark. It was a good mark. That's the ball. Here's John Gasquet going short to the pocket. Oh, here was that Waitman putting himself in front. That was excellent play. Waitman will come back and he'll take the free kick. But he's had a lot of courage down in front of Hardie.
Waitman, well kicked, but 3 handballs as well. High to half back. Knocked out of the air by Reynolds and lost of ground. Knight. Oh, he played it beautifully. Taken by Poole. In between wing and half forward. Not too sure what to do with it, Trevor Poole, because there's nobody on the forward line. Well, it came out of there so quickly they won't set for a forward charge. Rains off the ground. Kick back towards the centre. Bain underneath the ball. Waitman marks. Well, he's winning possessions all over the ground, the Richmond skipper.
Playing well in this quarter, Dale. Waitman has gone to half forward and he's found a man, Peter Wilson.
And they're reaping the rewards in this quarter by going more directly towards goal in the centre of the ground. And Waitman, who has been very good in this quarter, kicking long and direct and catching the Richmond Bears defenders out.
Now, it'll be a miracle if he can make the distance from here with that heavy ball. He won't. He'll land up in the goal square. There are a number of high flies. Here's Tim Powell, a quick kick. And it hit the post. So that is bad luck to Richmond. Very quick thinking by Tim Powell. But they lead. They lead by a point, 3-8 to 3-7. And, well, we're in for a titanic struggle for the rest of the game as the rain keeps tumbling down.
Begin by O'Keefe. What a mighty kick, about 50 metres in these conditions. But a good mark by Ryan. he scores. Gets it behind, and they lead by 2 points.
Well, they're doing most of the attacking of the Tigers and seem to be kicking further down that end. So maybe that is the scoring end, is the kick here now towards that half-back line. Bain off the ground with good play. Reynoldson's there now. Bain got he's working hard. Bain, but was it a free kick? I think it was. Before that, and it'll be Richmond's way. It is Lambert. In fact, Lambert right up in front of the Richmond goal. Let's see what they can do. There's plenty of opportunity. Waitman's had an excellent quarter. He goes in after it, close to the line, and he takes it over. He's the idol of the Richmond supporters, Dale Waitman. Great player for Richmond and for Victoria. There's the score, 3-9 to 3-7. 8.5 minutes of play left in this third quarter. Michael Pickering to Trevor Poole. Mark Roberts worked hard. Shoots the ball. This is dangerous over the split bend there. Richardson is there. And Dale Dixon. Richardson can't get away with it. Gasted lays on the tackle. Justin Pickering, I think that he's been caught. And yes, it is. And it's a half forward, centre-half forward for the Tigers.
Down by McLeod to Michael Pickering, edge of the goal square. Pickering's kick drops short, and it's struck it through by Wilson.
And he's a very deliberate player, Peter Wilson. He's done a couple of terrific things in the last 5 minutes. A great mark when he pitches his work. But playing on the forward line. Let's look at that again. Good play by Richmond to get the ball out. Pickering, a long kick into the forward line. They've gone much more direct. They haven't fiddled around in this quarter, Richmond. And good coaching by Kevin Bartlett to get them playing much better and more direct in this quarter.
Richmond lead by 8 points. They're getting on top. They badly need a goal, the Brisbane Bears. Halfway through that second quarter, Richmond were really picked up their game. Mark Williams not happy about something. The half forward for the Bears. They're making a change. In fact, coming on is Micken and off is Reynolds. And what they desperately need now is a quick goal.
Quarter time, mate. Richmond 4-5 to 5.5.
Yes, and I think that's been indicative of the general play around the ground. Richmond really have picked up after they were blitzed early by the Bears. There's Merritt. Bain loses the run of it. That's understandable. Off the ground by Ryan. Bain in after it again, but he's only 1 against 4 then. The Bears seem to be standing back a fair bit. There's Ryan playing well. Ryan right down towards half forward. A long that ball floated about 50 metres then. So taken over by Gibson. But that ball really carried. There might be more wind there than you think, Bernie.
Well, Roger Merritt comes on the ground with an arm injury.
Reynolds and has gone to the bench for about 1 minute.
He looks in a bad way, Roger Merritt, too. It's a bad loss for the Brisbane Bears.
Out of defence, Roberts for the Bears. Up towards centre wing. Big players out of bounds. We have just over 6 minutes remaining for three-quarter time. And it's now an 8-point lead to Richmond. After they were blitzed in the first quarter and trailed by 16 points. There are actually more spectators here than it looks like there. They're all up under shelter. Playing virtually non-stop since the start. Lambert. High to half forward. Richmond well placed. The ball skims on that wet ground. It comes out and play again.
Really, Richmond seems to be backing up a lot better. When you see a loose ball, there's 3 and 4 Richmond players there all the time. One Bears man.
Well, Richmond aren't a quick side with the likes of Gibson out. And I suppose in these conditions, other teams come back to their pace and they run it up. Umpire's going to throw it up again. I got that from the coach. Kevin Bartlett himself.
I wonder where you got that from.
Kevin Bartlett himself said, we're not quick. We're in a bit of strife for pace. Good kick off the turn up towards the point of the goal square. Wilson's there again. This might go through for a score. It has brought behind. Might have a competition at the end of the day.
I had no idea. Well, it wouldn't have floated a long way with the breeze, no doubt. Richmond have got the score again. So, the last quarter might favour the Bears as far as the breeze. Campbell, which fell on the bench, I would think. Jeff Hobb towards half. What is that chance again? All the half is dropped. Kicked away by Phillips, or smothered in fact. There's Michael Pickering playing for a free kick there. The umpire didn't pay it. Bain. Hassel was invicted and he puts it out of bounds on the full. So there'll be a kick out there to McKenna. On the mark is Williams. Well, McKenna's been a good player, Drew.
Yes, nearly leads the competition in possession for McKenna. Surprised a lot of people. Well, what a pick-up that was by Powell. Kick smothered. Free. Knocked off the ball. And over at Tyler. And then thrown up again. Peter Wilson passed up against Richmond. And looks as though he's been stung into action by starting the game on the bench and just come out like a raged lion. Michael Pickering on the turn. Bounce on the full. No, gets a score for that. So all these behinds are worth goals in the positions, and the margin now is 9 points, 10 points in favour of Richmond.
Mark Roberts has lost a lot of weight. He's much improved player. He's put in a lot of effort into his game, Roberts. And good to see reaping the benefit. Richardson slipped over. Now, I hope they don't play a free kick there. Good umpiring again. In fact, we eventually paid it for Richmond player topping it too high. And it's Trevor Poole right out there in the gloom. Bad luck for Richardson then when he slipped. There's the kick by Poole and dropped short. And it's a mark. Lambert. Craig Lambert is marked. He chipped in short. The ball will always drop under these conditions, but he took a very good chest mark.
It's right on top now. They're playing much more better position play than they did in the first quarter. When you consider Hardie kicked 3 goals, 3 out of the total Brisbane score of 3 goals, 7, you can see there's not much else on the board.
Craig Lambert from right in front, 25 metres out, kicks and goal.
Very important goal to Richmond, and well on top of this quarter. They kicked 4 goals to the Brisbane Bears, only 3 behind, all kicked by Brad Hardie. And the way they've played this third quarter, there's a kick by Poole. Not a great kick, didn't come off the boot very well, but Lambert in front, the right position to be, and kicked it truly.
Huge quarter for Richmond this. They kicked 4 goals. A magnificent performance. Reynolds at ground level doesn't get the ball out to the umpire and will throw it up again. So the margin now is 16 points, and that's what the Bears led now at quarter time. So since then, the turnaround has been over 5 goals in favour of Richmond, while the Bears have been goals. Gasper. Roberts. O'Keefe as well. Comes back to O'Keefe. Centering kick. Safe mark to Rod Lester-Smith. Got Payne going past him on the far side. That's good play by David Payne. Sandover medalist. That's 2.5 kicks from home. But it's a good kick onto the chest of Mark Williams, but he still wouldn't make the distance from there. Zanotti wants a long kick. Bad kick. Zanotti in the job. Comes down to Leeds. Loses in the tackle. Up for grabs here. Hardie goes in. Runs about 15 metres from goal. Umpire will throw it up again. Well, there's only a minute left. If the Bears can get a goal, we might have an exciting last quarter.
11 degrees Celsius. The temperature couldn't get worse conditions for football. The ground very, very heavy as Leeds boots it off the ground right out towards the half-back line and over. I'm quite happy with that bit of work. Bit of the old basketball high fives there. But they're showing a lot of spirit, Richmond. Big trouble early in the game. There's Lambert who's lifted his game. He was very quiet early, and again he goes to the line. And that'll be another throw in. 30 seconds of play left in this third quarter. It's a very handy lead. 5-11 plays 3-7. So the Bears will have to get 3 goals to get themselves in front. That was Michael Pickering towards centre wing. Booted off the ground by Poole and took it out of bounds on the full. But I think the time clock is going to beat the Brisbane Bears. As that kick comes right up towards half forward. Ryan to McKenna, who jumped off the ball, and there's the siren. to end the third quarter here at the MCG. A very handy lead with the Tigers. Richmond leads 5-11-41 to the Brisbane Bears 3-7-25.
Possibly a match-winning quarter, that third by Richmond. They kicked 4 goals for the Brisbane Bears, 3 behind, and converted a 9-point deficit into a 16-point lead. 5-11-41 to 3-7-25. Well, the Tigers did lift their game from that.
Well, they did in that quarter. With 4 goals in this position. Tremendous performance by Richmond. And you consider Brad Hardie's kicked 3 goals, 3 out of 3 goals, 7. He's been a lone forward on the forward line. That's just that.
Here the progress scores from the other ground. St Kilda have hit back against Footscray. Looked all over at half-time. But Footscray 8-4-52 to St Kilda 6-9-45. 7 points in that. And Fitzroy continued to wallow in the mud against North Melbourne, trading 4-12 to 1 goal 6. Rain still falling here at the MCG as we prepare for the start of the last quarter. Tigers by 16 points. The Bears won the first quarter by 16 points, so it is not impossible. The trend of the game certainly swung with the way.
Roger Merritt's still off, Drew.
So it's not only today, but a few more matches as well.
I think Warwick Cap is also off.
These aren't his conditions at all. Any forwards conditions really, you wouldn't want to be playing under these conditions at full forward.
There's been conditions that have suited Warwick lately.
Game about to get underway. The umpire taking his time. Players be cooling off.
Well, they've done a marvellous job, those umpires, the way they've been consistent, Drew.
And not household names. Darren Goldking, Mike Poole.
Very intelligent.
Find a white dot in the middle. Throws up a clean ball. Now Muddy. Off the ground by Justin Quinlan. Ball played out of the bench by Roberts. Back onto the chest of Michael Pickering. Michael Pickering for Richmond. Out wide. Gastev marks. Was behind the wing. The Bears need to rush this ball forward and make the most of their forward opportunities. Well, a kicky kick at the moment. Michael Pickering takes the mark. His second for the quarter. Continues to build on his stats, which are now 4 marks, 20 kicks and 2 hand passes. Straight play. McIver intercepted by Waitman. Back it went to Knights. Now off the free. Richmond first forward. Wilson! No mark, but he might get the goal yet. Well, he missed everything and it's out of bounds.
Not happy with himself either. A good chance there to score a goal. It was good play, good use of the body and picked it up quickly. But just slewed off the side of the boot. Richmond looking good. 5-11 to 3-7. The Bears started off like millionaires. And then they're falling in a hole just before half-time. Richmond started to get on top. Micken beaten to that one by Summers. He's waiting playing for a free kick. And the umpires have missed the beat. Oh, it's kicked off the ground with by O'Keefe. It's about 25 metres out from the Richmond goal. There's Jeff Hogg. Could have woken up this morning and thought, oh, here we go. It'll be a tough day today, being a full forward. Richardson getting it towards the half-back area. Kim beautifully kicked that ball up. Oh, long kick by Chris Kim right up in front of goal, and the Bears force it over the line from behind for Richmond. But oh, they're playing well with the Tigers at the moment. They lead 5-12. The Brisbane Bears 3-7.
Matthew Campbell, who started the game so well. Straight up the centre of the ground. Micken tries to knock on. Gains a metre or two. Socket off the ground. Dixon. No distance with his kick whatsoever. Away from Kim. Dixon goes in again. All Richmond here, the hand pass, Waitman in a hurry. And hurried towards the boundary line by Gibson for the Bears. And eventually a tangle of arms and legs, and the ball's gone out of play.
And Waitman, again, was in after their form near the boundary line. Particularly since half-time, there he is on left of screen, but he has really set a fine example, Dale Waitman. It's Mike Richardson losing it to Hogg, the quick kick down on Wilson and lifted the elbow. He might have dropped his opponent high then, I think. Now let's see, was it going Wilson play? No, it was exactly as I said. It was a free kick to Campbell. Campbell out towards the wing. That was Tim Powell diving in on top of it. Now it's Cody Free. Up in front, Wilson was the flyer, trying to mark it on the chest. Micking a fresh air shot. Shuffled out towards Bain, and Bain will take it over the line. And forward pocket area, still Richmond's attacking zone. The Bears stopped their walk through.
Yeah, very good performance by Richmond to get back into this match. They've shown a lot of spirit, a lot of team spirit to get back in this. And the way they've run, the numbers of the ball has been tremendous.
Michael Pickering shuffles it out. Campbell again, little hand pass. Phillips. Phillips kicks about 12 metres. Kept in by McKenna. Waitman there with him. And the umpire again to throw up here. Waitman gets help in hand from Michael Pickering, which he might need at this stage. Waitman worked so hard. 17 possession. And after a quiet start, he's open. And pass back to Waitman. Oh, chance here for the Tigers. Justin Pickering on his chest. I reckon if he kicks this, it might be the final nail in the Bears' coffin.
Waitman again involved in that passage play on the left foot. A quick kick directly at goal, the right way to play this ground under these conditions. Pickering still a tough shot at goal from there, not an easy one.
Younger of the two brothers, Richmond line up. Doesn't require as Michael today, but big kick for goal this, and it misses to the right. In fact, touch the post on the way through.
Well, it just shows how difficult the conditions are. That kick, 5-13, plays 3-7. I think it was finding it difficult to get it down to their forward line, and I think the kicking was scoring in. There was an attempt to mark, but the free kick was given away. The advantage played. Matthew Campbell, a long kick. Hardie waits at the back, tried to use his body. Now he's got it. Now that's a free kick. Could have been to Hardie. McIver to Bain. No, it's not. It's Dale Dixon. Dixon hooks it back at the goals. Or some Shepley might have helped there. Chris Bim back, takes it away beautifully. Good defensive play by Bim. And he puts it right out and over the line. But bounced before the line, so it'll be a throw-in.
Looked like a Bears goal there at some stage. Bears at half forward for the throw. Calmed down by Reynolds. Tyler moves the ball. Chest mark drop. Ryan paddles it out though. Paddles, good word for today. There's been a few here today, like Poole, Rains. I suppose even Hogg covered in mud today.
Half forward, they won a couple of good goals badly. Lambert loses it. Cowers in there after all three, bumped off the ball. Kyber. And umpire will throw it up again.
Well, possibly the worst conditions to play football. Wet, rain, windy, and also the non-stop rain at the start of the game. Terrible conditions for the players to play.
Michael Richardson hooks it back up in front of goal. Such a good mark. Him again. Playing well down there in that last line of defence. Chris Pym off the side of the boot. But we'll forgive the players today for making skill errors. Ball over the line and half forward for the Bears. They don't really look like scoring goals at the moment. We'll consider those 3 goals were scored in the first quarter pretty early. Matthew Knight's good kick. Ball half back and the ball again is forced over the line. So not a lot happening at the moment. It could be a miracle if the Bears won this match from there. 5-13 to 3-7.
18 points. Doesn't look much in a game of Australian football in the late 80s. In these conditions, 3 goals worth about 12. Might have laughed at Queenslanders' weather earlier in the season. It blew a fine down here and it was wet up there. But I'm sure even when it was wet up there. Never 11 degrees at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Rains didn't get good to ball. Campbell did, but went backwards. Powell, good pick up, caught by O'Keefe, carried forward in the tackle, and Powell wins another free kick.
He deserved that move. He put his body in front. Great pick up and showed a lot of courage. Played well.
Tim Powell playing his 5th senior game this year. Total of 11 for his career, so he's just a youngster new to the game. Kicks him out of defence. Here's Powell once more. Eventually O'Keefe. Leg, and O'Keefe will get the free kick. That was against Powell. So even when he's thrown on the ground, doesn't stop trying. O'Keefe kick towards centre wing. McIver almost dragged down the mark. Double to you. Kick just away. Williams after it. Oh, well played, Lambert. Waitman another hand pass out. Shot in there. 3. The half forward. Keep first there. Well, a dead heat. And the umpire says, give it to me. I'll get my 250th possession.
Well, the players are diving on the ball. They know the umpires ain't going to free kick them today. Moving on to it. Just remember that Essendon plays Geelong here on Monday. It's going to be difficult for those two sides. We've got a day for this ground to dry out. I can't see it happening. That could have been a free kick to Wilson for being held. There's Matthew Campbell, who had a great first half, has been a little bit quieter in the second, but he's probably very close to being the Bears' best player. On centre wing, Alan McKenna under that pack. Nothing much happening. There he is. Number 12. Buoyant sort of player, Alan McKenna. Who mentioned earlier, not many people realise he's the highest possession getter in the league this year. One centre wing, it's a free kick to the Tigers. That's Lambert. Since half time, Bernie's really picked up.
Yes, him and Waitman has really brought the Tigers back into this match. Smaller players, medium-sized players, have really won the ball out of the match.
A bad kick by Craig Lambert. They keep trying his heart out. Ball being gassed in over the line, and we'll have a throw. So still the Bears haven't kicked a goal since quarter time. Brad Hardie got all 3 in the first quarter, and it's been all Richmond since then. Well, they wrestled like a pair of dinosaurs there, which way the free go. They went to Mark Mickett. And I'm sure Mickett would be wanting shorter spells on the ground and a bit of a rest on the bench, but with Merritt appearing to injure a shoulder or an arm, he can't take the luxury of the rest, Mark Mickett. Here's Lambert again after the chest mark. Fair distance again with that kick. And for the Tigers now. Umpire put the whistle away. McIver got a little kick out of there. 3, great desperation. And Ryan wasn't up towards short of full forward. Ball flops in the mud. Wilson after applying the tackle, number 19. The umpire says it's the Bears free kick. And going back to take it is Dixon.
Half back to the Bears, and believe it or not, as Drew said, and this Dale Dixon right out towards centre wing, Pickering, going to Justin Chapman at back. And again, the umpire will throw it up. Michael Pickering's had 20 kicks and 2 handballs. His brother Justin's had 10 kicks and 7 handballs, so they've contributed. Almost at centre wing. Here's Lambert. He played a great second half. Lambert. Towards half forward, Campbell, well played by Matthew Campbell. Put his body in and punched it away and caught one in the back.
Leading stats on the field. Coming up for possession, 28.
Well, he's been an excellent player, Campbell. Centre wing. What a good mark that is. Mark Summers. Or is it Mark McLeod? Summers. Back towards centre wing. It's tapped away again. This is Gibson. Right down towards Hardie. Can he kick another one? I think he might. He swings onto the left. Brad Hardie for goal, number 4. Kicks across the face and puts it through for a behind. So I think they'll be battling to win this game. The Brisbane Bears 3-8, Richmond 5-13, 12 and a half minutes of play.
Well, after his purple patch start, 3 kicks for 3
Kappa back on the ground. He's doing the ruck work. He's beaten for that one. Players charged in after it. Knocked up MCG. Warwick Kappa coming down from Queensland with a dive, but he saw these weather conditions. Flies very heavily on the market. Mark McLeod, youngster Kinston, with that hit out. Jeff Hogg, at the bottom of the pack. There's nothing happening at the moment of it. Remotely called the side.
Well, it's what a difference the weather makes. Richmond played a game here at the MCG earlier in the season when there were 18 goals kicked in the last quarter against North Melbourne. And here we've had a total of 8 all day. Pretty hard to call them now. That's Matthew Campbell. We're used to him. He's had them so much all day. Powell might have taken one on the back. Try and pitch out of defence. Bounce it just inside the line for a boundary throw. Well, it is 3 kicks the difference. I suppose if the Bears were to work it up towards the goal square, somehow get 3 kicks of goal and the ball go through, they could nearly snatch a 1-point win. Like to take a bet?
Bring on that. Get on with me.
The goals at quarter time.
Well, it's on centre wing. Again, Kappa's doing the ruck with Knights and good kick. Umpires found it. It's an obvious one there. Michael Pickering has the fight on Kappa and Lambert. Players all they don't. They're all coming in. Kappa, he had no support. Oh, the runner's been shoved down. Little Paul Cowie, he's in the middle of it. On the green tracksuit there on the left.
The way to show that you're a courageous player. Get the ball, get out in front and go for the marks.
There's Paul, and he's having a bit of a grin, so he can see the funny side of it. Lucky for Paul, he didn't get dumped in the mud there. But Richmond, well, it's been a good performance. Michael Pickering's been one of their better players towards half forward. Well, that's good umpiring again. He was held, he was pushed, and the umpire right in the good position then. That's a free kick to Mark Summers.
Summers off the side of the boot and down the play, yes, the throw. The only game I can remember where the conditions were as bad as this was a Hawthorn North Melbourne game at Hardie in 1977 when Malcolm Blight was given a second kick for goal to win the match.
I'd love you to bring that up.
Remember that one? That really was a problem. And taken away here by Gibson, showing a bit of rust and carry. Oh, but right in front of goal. A mark is taken by Lee, who tripped it up from defence. And the defender might nearly be able to make the distance here. Man on the mark about 35 metres from goal.
The tough kick from goal group is about 40 metres.
Yes, hasn't made it. But still a chance for Richmond. That's out of bounds in the forward pocket. Just on 9 minutes remaining in the game. And Richmond haven't added to their score as far as goal difference is concerned. They've added 2 behind. The Bears have added 1 behind, so they've had a goalless last week.
Summers doing the heavy work again in the ruck. Kappa pushing and shoving his way in there. And under conditions like these, players like Kappa really like so heavy on marking, put off leaving out of the side, like the smaller players. There's Hogg. Not only Warwick Kappa, there's a number of players in world football that certainly not suited by these conditions. 5'14", 3'8". Michael Richardson across the face. Or is that Dale Dixon? I think it is. Pickering. And probably thrown the ball up again. Free thrown away from the action.
Just like we had a while ago at Captain. I'm surprised it hasn't been more. It's so congested all day. It's much clearer.
It's right up there in front of the goal. No goal scored this last quarter. Capper was grabbed. Again we see the ball thrown up. Well, this is more like rugby than Australian rules. 5:14 to 3:8. Not a lot happening at the moment. Time clock ticking down. There's Lambert in a hurry to keep draw. A lot of courage shown by Pickering then. Might have been leg by Rains. The umpire didn't think so. It'll be a throw in about 30 metres around from behind post. Still in Richmond forward play.
Well, Richmond have only had 3 wins for the season. So at the halfway mark, 4 out of their 11 they'll be in about 5 minutes' time. Bears, of course, have had the same number, 3 wins, after their exciting win last week against the Blues. Warren captured the goal in the last 10 seconds. Probably the nail in the coffin with Bruins of the boys. Looked up towards the goal square. On the turn, Wilson. Off mark.
Waiting to get involved there. And Wilson been very lively on the forward line. Good move with Kevin Bartlett. Taking a get hold of away from full forward. And he's played Powell and Wilson both full forward interchange there. Players that are better suited in these conditions.
Pick up by Mike Richardson. Ran out of room. And the ball out of play. Well, they might have been expecting both before they fly back to Richmond. Not allowed to take soil and whatever else in the state. They might have examined their ears.
Well, the ball went half forward. It's been lacklustre last quarter with not a goal being scored. Now, Kim, back high, I think it was this bit. We'll come back to half quarter. He's worked particularly hard. Let's see if it is. Yes, there he is. And some nice things and down there in defence, straight off the side of the boot, right out towards the boundary. So that kick takes it over. players. They've brought up under 19 kids. Even though they've lost a few games, still inexperienced. They've got a team of goers. That's been shown out again today, where I really thought they might have had a match-winning lead in the Bears early in the game, and they kicked those first 3 goals. There's a good player in the McKenna on the left. Couldn't look at Alan McKenna. Thrown up again. Not a goal scored this final quarter. The lights are on here at the MCG, and thank goodness for that, I think. Didn't see any of them playing.
Under a minute left now. 19-point lead for Richmond. The last kick. One to Michael Pickering. Centre wing. Waiting in there. Off the ground by Rains. Gastev after this one. And Bauer takes the ball out to bring the boundary umpire into play.
I don't think we'd send this quarter overseas to show other countries our game through.
Well, I suppose like a lot of games, conditions which don't suit get shockers in any particular sport. Umpire will ball this up. Thrown all day. Thrown and swab. Rain from start to finish. Cold biting wind. And there we have it. Hot showers for everyone. So in the last quarter, the Brisbane Bears added just 1 behind. Richmond added 4 behinds, but it was Richmond's third quarter in which they kicked 4 goals, almost impossible in these conditions, which won the game for them. After the Bears had 3 in the first quarter, to lead by 16 points, Richmond came right back and kept the Bears goalless for the last 3 quarters of the match. You don't see that too often. And they looked really delighted to get the 4 premiership points here today. It was a slog, and I suppose at the start of the day you'd think, well, it's going to be a bit of a toss-up, but you do it through effort, commitment, teamwork, and they've had that, the Tigers, and they look pretty pleased with themselves, and so are their supporters. Richmond, 5-15, beating the Brisbane Bears, 3 goals 8. There's Neville Crowe, the Richmond president out there. He's quite happy to get the trench coat wet and even give Alan McKenna a kiss on the mouth. I don't believe it.
And the former great pass player for Richmond, Eric Leach, the blonde hair at the back there. And they're all out there. They're delighted.
Neville Crowe,
Very happy. It's great to see the president be so involved on the ground, especially in conditions like this. It'd be much warmer up behind the glass. Big character, Neville.
I think the Sunday coach might suit him right now. So there's the final score, 5-15, 45 Richmond, defeating Brisbane, 3 goals 8.